Let's go! Not over.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots and promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con. With me, as always, is Johnny C., creator of Sartana, Surrounded by Death, and The Pond. For who, Johnny?
My good cousin, Roger Morocco.
Absolutely. And our third co-host, Harry G., graphic artist extraordinaire.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, guys?
I just realized I'm really close. I'm like 8 million D, not 3D, but
What's that?
nothing.
8 million.
I'm like we're really close.
I feel particularly happy that I'm finally reconnecting with Harry because
I know
I was absent the last week's show, but I popped in. But when I popped in, he happened to pop out.
Yeah, that's right.
I felt like I haven't seen Harry in forever.
It sounds kind of wrong, but you're right. I popped out right as you popped in, but I was watching you on my phone when I was like popped out. You know.
Yeah.
I've been known to be an exhibitionist.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah, and we're dying to hear about San Diego, Johnny, but we're gonna probably cap that until the end.
We'll do that at the end. Yeah,
when we do the self-promotion stuff, because I definitely want to hear how the show went, and I'm sure you have some stories. I saw some of your photos and everything, and I have some questions, so
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It looked awesome, and then
a lot of fun.
We'll have to talk
really
about
great trip.
Now these next 3 weeks, I think we have shows, or I have shows.
Mm-hmm.
We got Wicked coming up and Terrificon, and I forget what else. Retro Expo's right around the corner too.
Retro,
so
Shaka Khan too.
Stuff. What's up?
Shaka Khan.
Shaka
Khan.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it also feels like we haven't been live for a while either, too.
A little bit, yeah.
Cool,
At least the gang all together.
Yeah, excellent. Absolutely. And I'm excited for tonight too, because we have a guest coming back for the second time, his first appearance was awesome. I still have yet to dive into that episode and start cutting up clips and stuff, because I remember we talked about some good stuff that last time. So I'm going to definitely do that at some point. But yeah, no, Brandon Bloxdorf, who is part of the Apollo City podcast crew. I think he actually started it, and he's also he's the marketing guy for Comix Wellspring, which every indie creator should know that name. It's like one of the biggest printers for
one of the premier
comics.
printers for indie comics for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And now they're back on track now that they've moved into their new location, which is awesome to hear. Yep. And then also he's got his fingers in a bunch of other little things too. What were you going to say, John?
I was just going to say, just real quick, I wanted to shout out Comix Wellspring because they came in like just in time for me to and I was kind of outside of the rush window just slightly, but they, I called them, I talked to somebody over there, and they were very great about making sure my order was out the door so it would arrive to me in time, so I was able to take it with me to San Diego. So big shout out to everybody over there. Cool. Awesome people to work with. Like I can't be thankful enough for all their hard work.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And before we bring him in, let me just say a quick hello to the chat tonight. We got Ara with us as always.
Ara.
He says hi all, good evening, Indie Comics Relay. What's up? We got Amy's Birdhouse with us tonight. We got new ones. So what you want?
That's me on Twitch.
Oh, that's you on Twitch.
That's me on Twitch, and here's why.
Okay.
When I went to go do my stream to audiences on StreamYard, I'll go to my Facebook like page and my Twitter. Well, it told me now
going on with the Facebook portion of StreamYard. So
really?
Yeah, there was something that happened a couple weeks ago. Like, I guess they're trying to cut down on people that stream to Facebook, but they only want people that stream to Facebook that I guess they consider more like serious streamers.
Oh, because we're a joke.
Well, they're trying to confirm that.
Like, jokesters.
Yeah. Right. So I was able to connect mine, Johnny, but I don't know if you'd have to look into yours to see if it'll allow you to connect it, since you're not technically running the show. It might not let you.
It allows me to connect to my like page, right? But here's the problem. When it went to go connect to my Twitter, it says you need Twitter Premium to be able to live stream video.
Really?
So you need to get verified, the blue check.
Oh, no.
Pay $7 a month, and then you can live stream. I'm considering on doing it because I use Twitter actively. And I mean, I could use that. I could write that off for taxes too.
How much is it a month? Because I was thinking
$7 or $8 a month. But at that point, it's a business expense because I stream, we talk comics. It's definitely, I use Twitter for comics related materials. So that is a business expense.
It's a promo.
And the check mark definitely means you're legit.
Yeah, exactly. And Brandon from Dismay is with us. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, Brandon?
We got Brandon.
The Comix Wellsprings in the house.
Yeah, that's great. Jeff DeMars. That's a new one. Jeff,
thanks for hanging out, Jeff.
Thanks for joining us. Ara's back. What did he say? Shaka Khan, the show for singers. I like that. Gen X Comics, awesome, and looking forward to combo. Oh, awesome! Another new face we haven't seen. Gen X. Thanks for joining us.
It's cool.
Look at this. Travis Ogle is in the house tonight too. What's up, Travis? Awesome. This is great, man. Some new.
I like that. I like that. Hello. It's like very that Seinfeld episode with that.
Hello. Yeah. Awesome. So without further ado, let's bring in tonight's guest. I know I'm looking forward to catching up with him and seeing what he's been up to, and I'm sure you guys are as well. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Brandon Bloxdorf. What's up, Brandon?
Hey. How you doing, guys?
What's going on, man?
Welcome back, man.
Harry cracks me up so much. I'm still laughing at the Shaka Khan one, dude. I'm still like just
it's gonna happen. I mean,
I can't. It's amazing.
Well, the funny thing with Harry, Brandon, is he he started off as one of our chat members, like,
Oh,
and
dang.
he would like almost feed me jokes like he was like my writer, you know, like he would put them in the chat and I would just say them and laugh. And then I said to Johnny one day, it's like, because I've known Harry because we used to work together too.
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't we try him out on the show? And it's worked out really
worked.
well. Like, you know,
It's the
Harry
perfect,
cracks me
like,
up at least once an episode.
yeah.
he's the guy on the side of every single, you know, late night show that's just doing jokes on the side. And you're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
every
exactly.
single
I'm like
minute,
the,
man.
Rob
Slipping the
Schneider-
host jokes, you know.
The
Yeah.
Rob Schneider have
Yeah.
Yes.
we can do it.
But he's also good at I mean, I'm gonna toot your horn a little bit
Oh,
here, Harry.
sweet. Thanks.
But you know, he researches the guest, he asks really poignant questions too.
Well, it's
Does
funny
due
you brought
And then he
diligence.
throws in jokes, you know. So
It's funny you brought that up, Keith. I think Preparation Age was born with Brandon as our guest. That's where I first came up.
yeah,
Actually.
exactly. That's right. Actually, yeah. Have you seen this,
What a great
Brandon? Hang on one
callback.
second.
What
We
a
have
great
to play
callback.
it now.
Looking for something, Betty? For relief, Mrs. Rollins, try this. Preparation H.
Pain, itching.
Sure, try this. Preparation
My
H.
nickname should be Preparation H because
No.
I really do. Look, I have a whole. I have notes here. You know?
Feeling better today? Thanks to you and Preparation H.
Back in form, Bill?
Thanks to you in Preparation H.
That's amazing. That's so great.
It never gets old.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it doesn't get
That's too
old.
funny.
So yeah, so
But-
Brandon, what's it's been what, 6 months since you've been on the show at least?
Gosh, I was thinking, was it how
Might have
long?
been
I thought it was like
longer.
April, May. I guess it wasn't April or May. Maybe it was before that. Maybe
Yeah, maybe.
February?
Yeah, maybe. It feels like it's been about 6 months.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a long year. The
yeah.
summer's been wild. It's
been
been
a
a very,
long
very
year.
busy time.
Mhm.
Yeah, honestly.
It does
Dude,
feel
you
like
said it, bro.
crazy
It's been a
busy.
long, long year so far.
It's been a long year this
Oh, man.
week.
I mean, dude, yeah, honestly, this week it's Monday. It's already been insane. And
Yeah,
I'm already just
right.
like, man, I
Right,
need
yeah.
the weekend, like right back here. I mean, that's
Well-
what's crazy is that things have been so back to back. I mean, this Comix Wellspring gig was really taken off. We've really transformed stuff within the company.
Congrats,
Apollo
man.
Steady Comics has been nonstop. We just put out some books. We just finished fulfillment for 2 Kickstarters at once.
These are
We have
really-
another
That's a
book
lot.
coming out. And then, you know, conventions nonstop. Heroes Con, Buffalo. We have a virtual con coming up. We have Terrificon coming up. And
Oh,
then
nice.
some
You're gonna
other
be
stuff.
at Terrificon?
Yeah, actually, yeah, we
Oh.
scored a booth there. Going to be
Oh,
hanging out there in the
sweet.
area as well.
We'll have to try to connect.
to
at
link
some
up.
point.
Yeah,
'Cause-
no,
'cause
definitely.
Both me and Johnny will be there. I'll be somewhere in Artist Alley.
Cool.
And then Johnny, I think you got a booth, right?
I'm 613 through 615.
Okay.
And our
What?
setup's going to be a little bit big this year. It's going to be a little
Yeah,
bit
he's like
interesting.
more with the vendors, right, Johnny? Is that like
Yeah, so my comic Surrounded by Death has like this coffee element to it. So at Terrificon, oh, look at the kitty.
Yeah, he's gonna pop up. All these animals will eventually pop up in a bit.
Nice. Like the Dr. Doolittle of comics.
Yeah,
Honestly.
We got Ace Ventura over here, everybody.
Yeah, Brandon, weren't you wet?
Come to me, my animal
We're
friend.
gonna have monkeys and everything swinging through in a bit, you know, like some
Yeah,
birds flying.
Were you at San Diego too, Brandon? Or
Not
Nice.
this year. I got
Oh,
to go
that's-
last year. San Diego's one of my favorites. I've been there
Fun.
like an awesome 6 or
Well,
7 times.
You've got your placard in
the
the background there.
yeah, yeah.
your
we
panel
got
placard.
we got the panel placard. It's one of my most proudest achievements. Is just doing
Yeah.
a couple panels at San Diego.
yeah.
Did you know that? Dude, what
but-
are you doing? Come on, I can't see.
But yeah, so Terrificon, I actually implement a pop-up cafe
oh,
from my comic book.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so
I'll
we
be
do like a little
filming
bit of like,
stuff there too. So I'll
oh,
definitely
you're gonna have to
capture
come on
that.
by.
Yeah,
I wear a
we'll
Yeah.
do
barista apron. We get all into it. It's great.
That's amazing. I'm so hyped.
Mm.
yeah,
swing by the
Terrificon's
booth.
a great show. Have you ever been to that one,
Fun
Brandon?
show.
No, first time. I'm tabling with a good friend of mine, Doug Knight. He does Cross-Eye Comics. We have a crazy like podcast cosplay booth because he's actually tabling with his friend who's a cosplayer.
Okay.
So we have like this dual booth set up, and we're like 1214, 1216 if you look us up, and we're kind of near the entrance. I feel like it was scary looking at it on the map, you know, not going there before. But then I talked to Tanner, actually Travis Ogle's brother, who's
Yep.
going to be
Oh, yeah.
hanging out with there. He's going to I'm going to
Travis
set
is
him
in
up
the-
with some spot.
Travis
Yeah.
is in the chat.
Travis
So
is
Brandon-
amazing.
Do you
Yeah.
know when you walk in, are you to the left or to the right?
I think it's to the right. I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're the opposite side of you guys.
Oh,
on the
okay,
opposite
cool.
side of the wall. Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
the
But
good
either
thing
way,
about
come on
that-
by, come visit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
The good thing about that show, I don't think there's a bad spot in the place, actually.
cool.
Like, wouldn't you say, Johnny? It's pretty solid all the way through that convention.
It is, because you actually have to walk through everything to get to the celebrities. So more
Yeah, they
often
put the
than not,
celebrities at the very back, so you have to. It's laid out like a grocery store, where you put, or a retail store where you put your best stuff in the back,
Yep,
so that all the
yep.
customers have to walk through everything, and it's laid out exactly like that, which is perfect.
That's
And Mitch does a
reassuring.
good job of programming the floor in terms of
Balance,
positioning,
too.
balancing it.
He's got a good
Artist Alley is a
ecosystem where
nice
it's not
section. Yeah.
nothing overpowers each other. So there's not
Right.
too many celebrities. There's not too many comic guys, not too many, you know what I mean? Like it's
Ooh,
just
cool.
it's a perfect ecosystem. And yeah, I love it. It's like one of the best shows in this area.
He's a great dude. I got to talk to him. We were communicating via email for a good while. Because I had just gotten a booth just to go as Apollo, and then he actually inquired with CWS to see how we could work stuff out and see what we could do and whatnot. And he actually hooked us up with a panel. I'll be doing a panel 4 p.m. on
cool.
Friday. Talking
nice.
about printing with Comix Wellspring, and we got Comix Wellspring heavily involved with everything now. So I'll be dual
great.
wielding. Typically, that's the exhausting part about cons. Whenever I do them, is that I'm both Apollo City Comics and Comix Wellspring. So I'm just doing 2 hats at once, promoting my stuff and then promoting everybody's stuff to get printed.
Sucks when you're in that position, because you can't quite enjoy the con as much as you want as a fan.
You're working double
Right?
time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running around, you're communicating, you're
Well-
hustling, you're tagging teaming, you're doing bundles, and then you're just like, oh, now I gotta film, and then you gotta meet people and describe stuff. It's a lot, but it's fun.
And you guys have to prepare for Indie Creator Con,
yeah.
right?
coming up as
That's
well.
coming
Yeah.
up, and that's
Yeah.
a
Both me and
Connecticut,
Johnny just
another
got
Connecticut
accepted.
show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Johnny
Matt
both
Sardo.
got accepted recently, so we'll be
Oh,
there.
nice.
as
I gotta
well.
get my payment in.
I
Do
feel
it,
ya.
Johnny. Quick.
I got to
Yeah.
talk to Matt. Apollo should be having a table there as well, and I'll be there as Comix Wellspring no matter what.
Nice. Nice.
And yeah, that's Indie Creator Con is like, you're talking about balance and conventions that benefit creators. That's like a top tier. I'm very interested in Terrificon to see how they do it, since I've never seen it before. But like, talk about like Indie Creator Con the first year was wonderful. From what I know, the whole layout is going to be a lot better, a lot wider.
Nice.
Panels will be more accessible. We're a lot bigger this year too, so we'll have way more. I think 50 more indie creators than we did last year.
Oh, nice.
And
We
we'll be
found out about
sponsoring
that one too late the first year, because I would have loved to gone to the first year, but I found out about it too late, and I think all the applications were already accepted, and
It was
everything
tight
was
too.
sold out.
It was a real quick, from what I understand. Like, it was really fast the way people applied, and they had hundreds where they were just overwhelmed with applications. So even
Love a
then, it
good
was
one
probably
day
a tough-
show.
I love the idea of that show, though. I mean, like, have you ever been to like Mice up here or SPX?
No, I've wanted to though. Oh, SPX, I might be hitting up just to visit at least. Yeah.
Yeah, Mice is another. I mean, it's a smaller show, but it's grounded in like indie comics, like
Yeah.
creators and
Like Staples in Austin. I heard that's a great one as well.
I've never heard of
Yeah.
that one, but you probably like. I want more shows like this. Actually, like
Yes.
I feel like, especially in the regular mainstream comics, I feel like indie is sort of still taking over. Like in
Mhm.
Marvel and DC are kind of going lower. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, there.
like, and so like I want to see more like indie stuff. Like, and I think Indie Creator Con is a great show.
So is that a newer con? Is that second
Yeah,
year?
it's going to be its second year in March.
Second year?
Mm,
Mm.
Yeah.
So we
I mean,
missed it
that's
last
also,
year,
like,
Harry.
It's a big reason why, Gen X does Gen X Con, and it's a virtual Comic Con. They held it back in, I believe, around June. We were at Buffalo, so I think it was late June when that happened. But what he does is he's really good at creating a good community and like bringing people together. So once we got to talk and like, look at what we're both interested in, and that's what we're kind of trying to do with this virtual con coming up this weekend, August 10th. And registration's open, you can come visit. We're just doing panels and small stuff for that, but we want to grow it to be really indie focused, and we want to connect with other publishers. Like, we partner a lot with lesser known comics and like Cosmic Lion Productions, and like seeing how do we open up avenues to have you guys own your own virtual cons online and run
Love it.
panels, have people set up booths. And these virtual booths are super cool. You could put like, downloads there, links to all your stuff. You could communicate, you could chat with people. And when you jump into panels, you're literally doing live podcasts all day. So we have a whole program set up. I think an email is about to go out in a little while about it too. But I mean, everything we cover: podcasting, we cover, we're doing live Inspired Ink, live Spilled Ink, talking about the status of Comix Wellspring, questions with our pre-press team so people can understand that more, all sorts of stuff. So like creating an environment for indie to flourish is kind of the benefit of behind these virtual cons. And it's getting us to connect with people like you guys, where we could actually bring you guys on more and actually host you all who, support indie comics and bring that as a platform together too. So a lot of cool stuff behind the scenes that we're kind of tinkering with and seeing how we could start with this idea. And if it works out, how do we do more one-day virtual stuff to make it easier for everyone?
I love that, because it feels like when COVID was a thing, all there was like virtual cons. And then the second like everything opened up, virtual seemed to just disappear. But I'm glad so you guys are thinking about bringing it back, but like bringing it with a strong like indie focus. I think that's awesome.
Cons are exhausting too. Like,
they
we're
are.
just talking about, thank God for like a one-day convention, because like day 2, day 3, you are just so spent. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're at your booth hustling the entire time, like, rejection's one thing, because, getting rejected at your booth, like, it gets exhausting after a while, depending where you are, for sure. But like, even when you have success, that's exhausting too. And doing that 3 times,
well, it's
12-hour
it's a
shifts.
job. Like if you break it down, like we're all fans, like, but when you're behind your table, like you're actually a salesman, like you're selling, so it is exhausting. And like even sometimes like with Terrificon, like because I know they have the concrete floor, so I'll bring my own like mat so that when I stand up and talk to people, it like doesn't hurt my feet as much.
You're supposed to make sales.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I know, that's another thing. I mean, you give away so much for free too, dude. At Heroes, like, I didn't make a lot of money at Heroes. That was not a good like turnover con. That was a great and amazing con for networking though.
Great.
So it's like, some shows have their payoffs. Buffalo, I had a great time. That was a killer show for me, 100%. But I mean, that's the value with some stuff too, is like, am I gonna like pour my heart out into trying to make this sale, or am I just going to know when to like, all right, this isn't working, let me go talk to some people and like network a little bit. T'Challa, I'm gonna beat you up, dude, just biting my mic and everything.
Yeah, I had this similar experience to Heroes Con. I went there about 6 years ago, and didn't make a lot of money, made a little bit, but nothing crazy. And then networked with a bunch, but like when I was there, I was like, I love this show. Like, it's nothing but comics. There's like nothing, there's no toy dealers, there's no celebrities.
Right, exactly.
Creators, comics. And I love like I don't know, do they still do like they had like that center area where artists just draw and people watch?
The live drawing and everything. And they had like all creators of all types there too. So
the art
really
auction,
cool,
they still do that, I imagine.
Still do that.
That stuff was awesome. Like I was in awe of that whole show. I was like, I don't care that I'm not making money, but this show is awesome, so
it's worth it for the experience, you know what I mean?
It is. And I'm thinking about trying it again soon and see if the experience is a little different, this time around, now that I've had like 6 more years of experience behind the table, so.
And the layouts are getting better. The one thing I noticed, it was very collector. I mean, we were also next to like the Cuberts and like Jimmy Palmoni and Amanda Connor, and then like, Simon Beasley was there and everything. And it's like, we try to like promote indie comics around that crowd, and everyone there is just trying to like hustle books to get like signed and eBayed. You know what I mean? And so nobody gave us the time of day. But Simon Beasley, we went up to him and we're like, hey, Simon, love your stuff. Like, I make a punk anthology and Teenage Babylon. Like, I hope you dig it. And then, he was like very thankful and everything. And like, it was like an afternoon where me and my friend Jeff, that we were tabling there, him and John O'Burke, and we were just getting shot down all day, just defeated all day. Like, no money was made. Like, nothing. And then I see Simon packing up his stuff early, and we're like, look at Simon probably had a rough day too. He's leaving early, and he could have like easily just gone straight and dipped, but he came up and like turned the corner and he was like, you know what, badass guy, badass motherfuckers, badass, and gave us like fist bumps and everything. And we're like, you know what, we can do this, guys. We got this. Simon,
They gave you that little extra like
yeah.
juice to keep going, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
dude,
part
right
of
on.
like selling at cons is having a good mental like capacity for rejection, because
it's
it's
gonna
gonna
roll off
happen.
your back. It's gotta
Even-
roll.
yeah,
Yeah.
you almost gotta like distance yourself from yourself, you know what I mean, like, and not take it personally.
Well,
Yes.
the thing is, if you start to like get frustrated, it like only gets worse from there.
Mhm.
Like I've
100%.
shared tables with people who've spiraled like in entirety because it wasn't hitting right for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
100%.
when you see that, when you let it get to you, it only gets worse from there. It doesn't get better unless you like hard stop, change your routine, change your attitude. You know?
That's kind of the cool part. Like when I'm CWS Apollo, when I'm getting like beat up as Apollo, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go film some stuff and talk to people. Like, let me just like go hit reset. Like, I'll be exhausted, but at least I get to breathe for a moment. Because even, dude, we
it's
offer
tough when
free
you're solo.
anthologies. Yeah, with that too. That's even harder, honestly, when you're not tabling people. But like, even you offer, we had free, you know, and digital anthologies you're handing out, and people are just like, free? Like, no, like, or indie? No. And you're just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, like you're handing him poison. Like like, you know what I mean? Like people were like I try to give people free stuff like bookmarks and things like that. And they run by, you know, like this, like with their hands waving.
There was
like
a booth.
I was like, Amy, am I handing him poison? Like it just like made no sense. Like
there was a booth across from us in San Diego for a few years in a row consecutively, because we're always in the same spot, and they did free science comics, and they couldn't give these things away. It was just like,
oh man,
and you could see the people, and those guys were chill too, because I remember when I showed up, is the first thing I did is I dropped my gear down, and it was like, and you lug gear inside too, so you're like kind of tired by the time you get to your booth, so you sit down for a minute, catch a breather, the guy comes up with a cold beer. It's like, and he goes, yeah, we use this usually. We have a cold beer at the end of the day after all the, like you said, all the no's and the rejection and all that. So it's like nothing but, you know, nothing else is the cure but to just kick back and have a cold one, you know?
Yes,
maybe
honestly.
maybe it has the opposite effect when you give something for free. It makes it seem it's not worth as much, or you know, it's not, you know, I just take this.
The product becomes devalued.
Yeah. So I think
that's
people
what
like,
it is.
yeah, it's all a mental thing, I think.
sometimes, you know,
It's
like
the
sometimes you
reverse.
just want to hand them a postcard about your stuff, and
Yeah.
just like, yeah, they're just like they can't be bothered, you know.
I think that's the importance and the lost art of the ash can. Us indies, we don't do enough ash cans where we can do something small. There you go. Homie's got one right there.
Black and white,
Yeah.
dude. That's the cool thing. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot of print, and then, you know, it's 12 pages, cool, fun story.
Look at
And
that.
that's what I've been like saying.
CWS does ash cans, right? You guys print
they
ash
do that
cans,
too.
right?
Yeah, we do ash cans.
There
too.
you go.
We actually
Like,
we updated our entire, so we don't do custom sizing anymore, and it's weird saying that, but really because like we have a bajillion templates and sizing dimensions that are pretty much used across the spectrum.
Gotcha.
Of
So there's
comics.
like no weird style left.
Yeah,
like size left.
We
kinda,
made
right?
it like super easy and accessible for people, and that way you guys like have like the parameters of your print, and then you're under more control, and you're not having to guess, being like, well, it's a custom size because I didn't know the sizing or something. Or and I promise there's a template for everything for that type of stuff. So that's the cool part. We can do anything like that now.
That's great.
nice. Yeah.
What were you
But
gonna
yeah,
say,
there's not enough
Johnny?
ash cans. Those are freebies that you can hand out. So actually, this is going to parlay well into a future request, Brandon. So give me 1 second. I actually have trading cards, a trading card set illustrated or painted by Ryan Santos.
Oh, cool.
It's just beautiful artwork. And in the back, there's a little description for each character. And it's a really good freebie to give out at the table that gives a tease and a taste of Surrounded by Death. That's one thing that I don't know if you guys took it away, Brandon, but my request is to bring back trading cards. You guys used to print those. We'd love to see those come back.
If you send us a message and ask about trading cards, we could still do that for a bit. We really just like cut trading cards because like quality control, just wasn't there for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The machines that we were operating with and we're using, we just felt bad. We didn't like what we were putting out. So we were like, you know what? We just have to focus on what's best, especially right now. But it's something we want to bring back eventually, but not until we have like the right gear to really make it top tier. Worth it.
That's respectable.
That's respectable, you know, because I like the fact that you guys don't
Quality
just churn it
control,
out just to
care.
make the
Exactly.
buck, you know, like
Yeah.
that's great.
Exactly.
You guys
Because
actually
then
care about the
it gives us time
quality.
to focus on all the important stuff, the books and everything, all the great things. So it's like, you know, we get so many things coming back from that, from the trim, or us having to redo stuff all the time for the way it was coming out. So it was like, you know what, you know, it's better for us and the creators. So we're not giving you something that you're not 100% with, or you get it and you're just like, this isn't cut right, you know.
The work that you do represents yourself, you know what I mean? So that's how I feel about what I do too. My artwork, if I don't like what I'm doing, then I'm not gonna, I don't want to put it out there, you know what I mean? Like you want to be proud of what you do. So
exactly.
Which makes me pivot back to my original point. Indie creators should be making and producing ash cans and printing them through through Comix Wellspring.
Wrong company, Johnny.
Wrong company.
And Global Comics is awesome too. Like, good shout out to those.
Yeah,
they are a wonderful company as well. Yeah,
they are. Like I would say the premiere in digital easily.
Yes,
you know, like,
hands down. They give a lot of people opportunities that they really don't have anywhere else, and I love that. You know,
I agree. You know, like digital is like an area that I'd love to grow, but it's so hard to find readers for that. Like, I feel like most of our readers are print still. You know,
I think sorry, Brandon, I didn't mean to step on you
there.
there.
No, go for it.
I just wanted to give like 2 cents on that. Actually, is that I feel like when you're an indie creator and you're producing, regular size comics, digital is a real hard sell, as you said, right? Digital readers today are reading more mangas and webtoons than traditional comics. And that's the gap there, right? So we're indie creators, we're making traditional comics. There's that gap where there's very few people who actually want to read digitally that way. But if you are reading comics digitally, you're most likely reading in the scroll webtoons format, or you're reading manga, which is the similar, like kind of backwards or not the traditional method. Quick shout out to Global Comics again. Their guided view kind of breaks that mentality. So it turns traditional comics into a non-traditional reading structure, which then becomes appeal and kind of closes that gap there. But I think that's kind of part of it. I don't know, Brandon, you were going to say something. I didn't mean to step on you, but
no, I love
to give your 2 cents on that.
Because like digital comics as an indie creator are so important too. It's always really good to offer that no matter what. Print's perfect, print's great. Stan Lee said it best, boobs are great on the page, but they're even better in your hands. So just same thing with comics. Like it's the same concept. But like as
God bless that man.
Seriously. But like as like an indie creator, you're also a businessman. You're a business person. You're running stuff, you're selling your books at 3 times print cost, so you guys make profit. You do all these steps and whatnot, and so digital is such a good positive thing to sell on Kickstarters and on your website, because that's just free money. That's just an emo download. You could get enough digital pushes and sells that could cover a whole print run for stuff and cover a table almost.
You're right. Like I just include the last crowdfunder I did like a year ago. I finally included digital, and it did make a little bit of money, and
and
like you
for
said, it's like money that
friends who want to support you, just give them a digital download. Like,
right.
You don't want
to give them an actual copy. Yeah, exactly. That's like, with the price of paper and everything nowadays.
It makes fulfillment that much easier, right?
Yeah,
especially when you're fulfilling 2 campaigns at once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I don't know how you guys did that. It's wild.
It was the worst thing in the world. My girlfriend.
It was the worst thing in the world.
It was just really stressful because like we also ship out, but there's 20 something creators on each of our anthologies, and so creators want books as well. So you do fulfillment and you give it to all your backers, but then you're like, man, I got the creator copies, and then not only the creator copies that they want so they could table with, but then I try to comp creators with a copy. And so then you're doing that whole baggage, and then you're like, well, I need to send my family some, and then there's a bonus book for a friend, you know what I mean? And like, different outlets or whatever. So it's just never ending. And I'm so close to finishing. I have like 2 more packages I gotta send out. But it's crazy. But I mean, it's funny because I just moved into this house in April, and all the boxes of comics and everything finally got put away, and then I just get boxes of comics shipped in, and then boxes of comics shipped out, and I'm just like, all right, my girlfriend's like, enough. I need a break for at least a month. The living room needs to be clean for a little while, please. Like, I'm like, I feel you.
That's like
my
my
congrats
wife
on the
too,
new
with,
place, though.
with
Thank you.
with Comic-Con season. Usually all the Comic-Con gear is like right in the living room,
Yeah. Yes, exactly, dude. Like all your stuff is just everywhere because you're just, I mean, that's the craziest part too. You travel so much as a creator as well. And it's a grind, and people forget, like, we're out there hustling like business people, it's more than just, having fun drawing and writing and collaborating. You have to go out there and just
do you guys ever feel you guys feel that you're in the moment, when you're doing all that stuff and you're that busy and you have all that stuff going on, and you're, do you guys ever enjoy the moments, while you're in it, or is it like a blur to you guys?
I try to enjoy it. I try to remind myself. It's
fucking
hard.
blur, kid. It's all a blur.
I know.
I mean, I
It's
really
a
try to be
fucking blur.
thankful.
I barely remember it. I sped through it, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
It's hard, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot, going on in that moment, and you're just trying to make sure you're doing it right, and you're giving people proper stuff. And like, we include a lot of freebies and goodies with our packages. But, honestly, like a year ago, I barely started doing all this. So I have to be reminding myself and real thankful for like what has happened in just a year's time. And also backtracking back, you know what? I mean, I could just be playing video games, which is cool. I wish I was just playing video games, to be honest, or just reading comics. But this is the coolest thing in the world, dude. Like, we're sending out art to people,
Like, think about it. Like you're creating stuff that didn't exist like a few days or whatever weeks earlier. It's like you're giving birth to like new stuff that doesn't exist. Wasn't around before.
Looking at stories I haven't really seen like in print, and reading, like, it's rare that I read my work after I'm done and I send it to Max to letter. And so like going back through books and being like, man, this is a bitchin' like 2-page story. It's like really, really heartfelt and whatnot. And it also reminds me where I was like at the time of writing it sometimes. And then that reminds me of like, man, I'm happy right now. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's awesome.
I get that too. Like, I do feel like sometimes, like Johnny said, it's a blur because we do go to a lot of shows.
That's what I was asking.
Back to back to back. You know what I mean? It's like,
like, I always remember a moment or two from everything, but like, I do have a lot of fun while I'm there. Like, I think, like, I don't know, about 10 years ago when we started doing these shows, there was a point where I just was like, okay, you want to do this, you want to sell comics to people, you want to like make connections, you have to like, get it, find that positive, like, like that positivity that everyone has, like, like to like, because the one thing like I notice at shows is like people that are on their cell phone or sitting behind the table, not paying attention to people walking by. They're the ones like kind of missing out on, the experience, I think.
And they're the first to complain that they had a bad show.
Yeah,
that's why.
Johnny.
And like, they have to understand there's a balance. Yes. Like Brandon said, and Brandon actually made a really good point. When he gets burnt out, he's able to leave the table, go record videos, reset, come back, and then in turn, no time wasted. Everything's like, so a friend of mine, I'm not going to name names, came out to San Diego and they just didn't want to be there. Like they just, I'm having a beer with them. I'm going like, come on now. Like,
people would kill to be in that spot too. You know what I mean?
That's what I said to him. I go, you burned points to come to this show for what reason but to sit around and be miserable? Like, people would die to go to San Diego. People would die for a chance to be able to have a slice of table space, to be able to exhibit their shit. And I think I may have gotten through to him because like I got a really heartfelt text on the way home saying,
nice.
"Hey man, thanks for helping me turn things around."
Oh, so he snapped out of it
That's the
then?
thing, Johnny. We always have like those moments where,
Mhm.
like, it's happened to me a couple times too, where it's like you leave a show and you're just like, what am I doing with my life? Like you're in that gutter, like
Well,
you just like
some
the thing
shows,
it's
some
true. Like,
shows
I'm
are
not even lying. Harry's
absolutely.
laughing, but it's
It's
real.
true. Yeah, no, it's true.
Look.
No, it's just-
White Mountain Comic Con
Yeah.
was a very traumatic event where a group of creators were tricked into sitting in a room all weekend with very little ROI.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So when you come out on the other
Literally
side of
5
that,
people
where
came
there's
to the
very
show.
little to take away from it aside from camaraderie, that's
just-
where it's.
I'm just laughing at the fine line of extremes, you know, like, oh, I
Well,
love
no,
being here and
And
creating.
it's not always
I hate my
Harry.
life.
It's like I remember leaving one show and I was just like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this? Should I just
Right.
like give up? But the one thing that always brings me back is that I can't stop. Like the creative blood is in me. Like I have to create comics. and,
Right.
like
Either
it's
that or
part of my being. So it's like whenever I'm feeling that bad, I go back to comics and like
Yeah.
going back to the creative process, and it gets me in that headspace
I
again.
thought you were going to say it was Burgess Meredith saying, "Get up, Rock."
It should be that. Yeah.
Picture this.
Maybe I should record that and have that ready to go.
Right.
So in California, when I'm logging my gear out from the convention center and it's 83 degrees out and the sun's beating down, and I have a 75-pound suitcase that I'm lugging behind me and a 30-pound box over my shoulder that I'm very carefully balancing while I'm trying to weave through people and navigate the bumps in the sidewalk. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? And I'm like, oh yeah, because I love comics and I'm very
Yeah.
lucky.
You know, that reminds me of the
You know what I
story.
mean?
There's a guy on CNN. His name is he has the coolest name in the world. It's like the same name as like the guy from Star Trek. His name is Miles O'Brien, and he's like the aviator expert on CNN. It comes on every now and then. He's on PBS now, I think it was, but he was covering the explosion at Fukushima when it blew up, whatever. And he
Yes.
was pulling his like cart of like luggage and whatever else equipments. He was recording equipment, whatever. Somehow the thing falls on him and it gets his arm pinned between the bags and wherever, and he lost his arm.
Oh my god!
Isn't that crazy? Like,
It's
I'm like, 'cause I was
insane.
watching him. Watching it, it's not funny, but
It's not funny, Harry.
No.
Not funny, Harry.
no. But I'm like watching him and the news like recently. I'm like, wait a minute. He's like only using one arm. I'm like, where's the other arm? And then she's like, well, by the way, I'm also here to talk about my missing arm. I lost it during.
Johnny had a mute
Then
himself.
he's just dying. Oh my god.
Oh,
I mean, I think I'm getting what you're trying to say,
It's
Harry.
the
that,
love,
like,
it's the passion. You know what I
the
mean?
passion
Like,
that-
keep on going
even though
no
he
matter
lost
what.
his
like-
arm, he kept
Let's reel it
going.
back in.
Once an episode, Harry will make me lose my shit. He just did it again.
I think in your
We're
weird
so
way,
off the
you're
rails
trying
right
to
now.
say that,
Hold
right?
on.
exactly.
Okay.
Let's
Oh
let's
my
reel
God.
it in. It's
Reel
all
it
about
in,
the passion.
reel it
The
in.
guy has passion, right?
I mean, and
Well-
that's what it is. Like I mean, I was a musician. I think we talked about this last time. I was a musician my whole life, and then like going on tour and doing all this stuff. And that's what like all these conventions feels like. Instead of touring for like a month or two on the road and playing for 30 minutes every night, you just do 3 days straight for like 12 hours and you just like blast through it. But it's like, actually Dismay Comics, he's a great dude as well. I need to get at him on Inspired Ink once we bring the show back. But like what he's saying is, when you were there with a friend or a colleague, at tabling with people, makes it so much better. And that's why when I table with like Doug Knight and Mark Bernal, lesser known, or my friend Jeff or John O'Burke, it's a blast. Those hard moments, like you have friends and you share those moments with people, and you could kind of get through and encourage each other. Plus, dude, we bundle stuff. This is a cool thing.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
a
if you
great
guys ever
idea.
do that when you're tabling with people. Like, I'll sell my punk anthology with like a bundle of Doug stuff, so an extra $10 gets you an anthology. Or at Heroes, we were just trying to mark up things like You know,
People
you
love
lose a couple
bundles.
bucks. Yeah, you lose a couple bucks, you know, maybe $5-10, you know, whatever. But like
But you're
I was
moving
pushing all
products, yeah.
3
Mhm.
anthologies, and then I was pushing, you know, you get this book and then you get both of their first issues together for this amount. And people were like, oh, I could support all 3 of you at once and get 3 books. People love that stuff. So like
Mhm.
bundling at your table, I mean, I highly recommend it for success at cons.
I learned all that from watching American Pickers. They bundle all the like we have watch the show, like they bundle, like, can I have this and that for this much? I'm like, all right, fine, you know.
Yeah, you
Well,
know, honestly,
I share the table with my wife usually, who's an artist as well. So we
Mhm.
we bounce off each other pretty well. Like, and we try to like range everything so that like there's not too much for people to look at. That's another real thing. Like people walking by the table like can't process. Like if you have a ton of stuff there,
Sensory overload.
yeah,
yeah,
it's sensory
yeah.
overload, especially
Yeah.
if it's a big show too, because you know they're walking like this, like with like a deer in headlights, looking around, and
The
sometimes they miss
perception of
you. You know,
the perception of value is key as well. So like when you're
Mhm.
bundling something, like, wow, I can walk away with all this for $40.
Yeah,
That's a deal.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, typically, like, you know, for example, the Punk anthology is 15, Shadow is typically 25, and then Cybersync is 20. And so I do them all, I think. What do I do that for? I can't do math right now. I cut off
Mhm.
$10 in the total. If you add all
okay,
that
like
together and you
50.
subtract $10, yeah, it's like $50.
Yeah.
$50 for 3 anthologies is still pretty sweet. And it still is like enough to get by with printing. You know what I mean? It's not killing
Yeah,
you in
yeah,
that sense, you know? So
yeah.
that's
That's the
another thing.
worst.
I mean, inflation on stuff. Like I know CWS, you know, we had slight price increase on stuff, but it's really like then as a business person, as a comic book creator, I'm like, well, that means my book has to go up, you know, $2 because of print costs. And I think there's a balance there where you have to work with the economy of like your printer and your, you know, where you're getting your supplies from, and then you as a creator who has to resell it. And that's a whole nother spectrum to like figure out and explore at conventions and how you could give away stuff and make deals and be okay, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I try to do like, I don't want to say I use my comics as like a loss leader, but like I try to like make them a little more affordable, and then I try to make up more on like the merch side of things, like
Mhm.
you know, like you know, I have trading cards and you know, lunch boxes and things like that that I try to, you know, try to make up like that difference and try to offer the comics at a lower price. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm not making much there, but like on other things, like I can pick it up, you know. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's
And then
it's a
that's how you have to
finding that,
operate.
yeah, and like what works for you as a
Mhm.
creator, and what you're willing to you know, where you're willing to take a hit and then
Yeah.
still make, you know, still sell the product, and you know,
And that's
so
why I kind of hit with like black and white books too. Like black and white like has kind of helped me with those type of like really cheap sales that help me make up for income. Because if I sell Teenage Babylon for $5, it's an awesome buy for $5 because a lot of indie, you know, creators sell their books between 5 to, you know, 10, 15. And so like doing this for 5, I mean, after I sell X amount, I could cover a print run, but then still have some of that print run that I had left over to go towards other things. So then striking a deal on a perfect bound book, it kind of the money transfers over and I still
Mhm.
land with enough to make print. But I mean, that's just a weird thing when I found that out giving away too many books, where you're just like, dang, I need to like not do
Yeah,
this book or this
make
book.
a little money
This
and
is my
try to
freebie.
bleed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But when you're like selling for, you know, the first couple of years, like it's more about like giving away books and human
Yeah.
swaps with other
Just getting
creators
the
and
name
things like
out
that.
there.
Yeah,
Just,
Yeah.
you know,
exactly.
take the hit a little bit, you know, it's worth it.
Take the loss for sure.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, definitely.
part of it's keeping a key, like very diligent inventory of what you're
Mhm.
giving out as promo and marking it out accordingly. That's why I love running everything through Square. And I'm, you know, Square doesn't promote us or anything, and we should probably reach out for sponsorship
Mhm.
because I really do. I really do like using Square. Their reporting when it comes to tax season. If you load all your inventory in there and you run all your transactions, and you know you do your promo copies, it'll say promo copy, which you can then
Oh,
write
interesting.
off on your taxes to say, okay, well, I gave away 4 copies of Surrounded by Death at the show. So
Wow.
then that means that's $20 a piece. That's, you know, something you can write off. And you get a
Cool.
little bit
That's
of that
cool.
back.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a great
stuff like
idea, Johnny.
stuff like that is like really what we're trying to teach creators too. We're doing an entire, I saw a comment in here about, free educational materials, and like Comix Wellspring has been working so hard essentially in trying to make creator materials so it makes it easier for people to like not only print and upload files. Like we have the new show Understanding Ink, where it's Max Flowers talking about file preparation, and that makes it easier for you all to have a visual step-by-step guide and someone telling you how to do stuff. But like everything from even business side of things and like marketing and promoting and how to balance some of that out, and how to best practices other creators use, that's all stuff we want to include in our new newsletter that we're revamping in the next month or so. Yeah, it's going to be more of, I was really inspired by like Warren Ellis's early newsletters with like CBR and everything, where you got to like learn stuff and actually get like recommendations and everything. So we're doing one based like that, another one based like on links and posts. So like we want to be able to give this type of information and promote people like that through those.
I love it.
Teaching people is like the best. You shouldn't hold secrets with some of this, because
No,
it's just going to
shouldn't.
help people more.
I get shocked when I find out people don't write off their stuff for taxes that exhibit.
Dude, I need to.
Right.
We're gonna talk.
Do you not?
Like,
I will come over.
Yeah.
I will shake you when I meet you. Like people should. If you're making comics, you should be paying your taxes. Number one. But number two, you should be writing off your expenses. That's how it's affordable. That's how things. That's how you could do a convention, take a loss, but not lose your shirt. Is by writing off your expenses.
So traveling too is also covered with that?
Traveling.
Traveling.
My plane ticket to San Diego. My overpriced hotel to San Diego. All that stuff. The table. All that stuff. As long as you have receipts to back up your expenses, you bring a big box to your CPA,
and don't lose your arm
with a cup of coffee. Right. And you go, good luck, buddy.
Well,
it was a hell of a year.
If you lose your arm, you could probably write that off.
The new robotic mechanical arm. Maybe,
like an AI arm.
Yeah,
Netflix, Jeff DeMars, Netflix. Yes, you can write off your Netflix account.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you're using it for inspiration. You could like you're not supposed to, I guess, but you could technically write off your Kickstarter donations, especially if it, you know what I mean? Because it's just you're
true.
Right.
Yeah, Johnny, but that's brilliant because like I do keep good track record of my tax stuff, but I never write off like free copies that I do give out. Like,
that's
something
brilliant,
that I
dude.
never even thought to do. Like,
we should do a new segment. A tip of the
better start
the
doing
show.
Tip of the week or something.
Tip of the week, yeah, right.
Comic tip of the week.
I'm not a tax professional. I'm only going off a personal experience. I don't want to be held liable.
You're going to be a middleman now. Like
I'm just telling you what I do. That's all.
Well, Johnny said.
Exactly. I'm gonna defer to Harry. I'm like, Harry, I said it under duress.
Right.
But I do feel like this is all like info that should be, like you said, Brandon, out there, because a lot of comic creators are artists, and like artists do not think about this side of the
art
blue-collar business people.
That, dude. Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, even for me, like, granted, I do stuff with Comix Wellspring, but I still have to pay for everything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still a creator, and I'm still, needing banners. I need tablecloths. I need prints. I need, I'm driving up to Connecticut. Like, there's nothing like glamorous about like what I do in that sense. So it's like I'm still in the trenches, and so like even for me, like growing as a creator, that's such good pivotal stuff. And it's like, if this is going to help me in my current state, imagine for all the people who've been doing it and just don't know about it yet. And I love that type of stuff. I mean, that's the whole thing about CWS at this point, is that we're so focused on just, teaching and educating, and our, granted, I have to help people print comics. And how do you get people to print comics? You get them to make more comics. And that's the coolest job ever to have, is that I just need to inspire and give the best advice, resources, abilities, inspiration, like, marketing and showcase creators. That's why we do 3 shows now, and Inspired Ink.
Wow. Nice.
Granted, it's been on hold for a little bit because I've been so busy, but we'll bring back Inspired Ink very soon to interview people. Spilled Ink is weekly live drawing where we bring on creators, and now Understanding Ink is an educational resource. So it's
speaking of that, I've watched a couple episodes of Spilled Ink, and so I was wondering, do you have any inspirations for that show? Did anything inspire you growing up? Because I used to watch this guy. His name Mark Kistler. You ever heard that guy's name before?
No, that sounds
he's like, maybe I watched him back, 20-something years ago. Like he's like a chubby guy with a mustache, and he would draw like cartoon, like for kids, like it's like a cartoon drawing show, and
That's vaguely
so,
familiar.
so I remember one show he did it's like he was like drawing sharks, it's like sharks going that way and S curving that way, whatever. It's like using swooshes and everything, and then he would draw like little seaweed or other little fish around. And then he gets this thing called an art attack. He's like, oh my God, I'm having an art attack. And he would quickly like draw bubbles and like swooshes and everything and like really quick, like, oh, what a cool. It's really
so
cool
wild.
show.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, Mark Kistler, Kistler. He's a pretty. I'm sure he's like a million years old now, but back in the day,
He's a million years old.
At least.
But I mean, to answer your question too, like I don't know, the drawing stuff, as a writer, I always knew I couldn't draw. And when I moved to Virginia, it's kind of weird. When I moved to Virginia, I moved like across the country and my whole life was transforming, and I was like in a really like kind of depressed state. So I knew I had to do something, and like I had a lot of free time at that point too. And so I was like, you know what, why don't I just do a live, Apollo City Comics was just a podcast, and granted, we're not really a podcast at all anymore. It's pure publishing at this point, which is insane to me to even think about because how long I did the show for. But I kind of just got a hold of my friend Danny, and I was like, dude, why don't we just like do a live stream? And I was also like, I figured it started because I wanted to start microdosing mushrooms. Let's start there. And like that was going to start. And I was like, if I'm going to do that, I might as well do something creative. And like, I might as well just start there. And I was like, I'll draw. And I was like, well, if I'm going to draw, I might as well do it for Apollo and do something to boost the show. So then I was learning how to like microdose mushrooms while drawing live on YouTube every week. And that was a whole experiment. For a while, and the show got busy.
Pause. Time out. Please tell me you saw a creative difference when you dosed and you did work.
I feel like actually I have a zine. I might have a few copies left, but it's all my early drawings from that show. So and I look at that and I feel like that gave me a bolstering amount of confidence because I kind of thought about being a musician and playing live on stage. You know what I mean? So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna get out here and do it and show no fear. And
see what I like about what you do on your spilled ink is like you draw, but you also kind of learn at the same time as you're drawing. You know what I mean?
That's what became the point. Was like I didn't know how to do it. So if I do it live and I'm showing people, like I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to draw. If I
get
just do it live
suggestions from the audience too,
and you bring on friends and indie creators, they teach you. And so like that live drawing show, it was called Drink and Draw, but granted I stopped drinking, and nobody was really drinking on that show. I was on mushrooms the first segment, and that was on Apollo. That was never CWS. That was years ago, for the record. But then I brought it back and we called it Drawing Shit, with hashtag
Drawing Shit. That's a weird name.
Yeah, because every week we would just be drawing shit. You know what I mean? We're just like, we're just hanging out every week drawing shit.
So literally, there's a certain mental clarity that comes with psychedelics like mushrooms. So I'm wondering if you felt you said you felt more productive, right?
Essentially, I got to like focus for 3 hours, and it's hard for me to focus, for 3 to 4. When you look at those Apollo, they're still up on the Apollo YouTube. When you look how long those sessions would go for, that was the cool part. My ADHD calmed down. I got to be like, I'm just gonna do this whole thing and just figure it out. And you're so slow at first, you know what I mean? Like, you just really grinding it out, trying to.
I'm just imagining that show with the shroom smoking everything. Like it's like all smoke. You can't even see the drawing at all.
Do you feel like creatively you were in the zone a lot? You know how you get into that creative zone?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like it was like instantaneous when you were under the influence?
I guess so. I guess it's a matter of control and like, your placement and stuff too. You know what I mean? Like I was very driven and focused at that point, but I feel like if you were like very scattered and not going there with a purpose, you know what I mean? That's what could lead you astray. So it's just like a weird amount of stuff that kind of goes into like premeditation of what you're doing it for. And also like the anxiety of just like, okay, I'm live. I have to be doing this. Like I need to, because you know, when you start, and this is kind of funny, you know, when you start smoking weed in high school and you go to school, you know, you have to like really like figure out how to like present yourself and act normal. That's the whole thing. You're acting normal in public, but now you're on live stream, you know?
So you
Right.
draw your
it's the same
eyeballs.
thing.
You draw your eyeballs on your eyelids. So you think that people, oh, he's normal. He's fine. He's
I've-
what-
I'm very fascinated with, because I mean, if you think about some of the best musicians, and they were all under the influence, you think it's some of you look at Hemingway.
Number 2, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You look
Mr.
at
Hanky.
Hemingway
Yeah, Mr. Hanky's sitting.
and how he used alcohol to enhance. Like there's a connection there, right? So I was very fascinated to hear that you tried a little bit of some mushrooms to enhance
It
your
helps with, like,
creative output.
the anxiety of it, you know what I mean? Like that's the cool, you kind of let go and you let it just like you get over a lot of fears. It helps to clear out a lot of those fears.
I feel
Kind of
that
like
we
when
Love
I
that.
should have a disclaimer at the end of the show. You know, when you watch He-Man, like old He-Man shows, at the end, like He-Man shows up or Men at Arms. Well, today's episode was about lying. You know, you shouldn't lie. You know, maybe we should have a little disclaimer.
Well, we're past the 10 o'clock hour, so we can get wild with
okay, go.
it.
yeah,
Oh, well, yeah.
no,
So
no.
that's the other thing too, is the balance, right? Like if you're gonna actively do whatever to
Yeah.
get to wherever, like that's obviously a balance. Like there's a like you look at functional heroin addicts where they need their fix, but they're also like holding down jobs, you know, that stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and I've always been someone who's like advocate, like I've always smoked my whole life because it helped me with anxiety, it helped me with eating and like all that type of stuff. And so you learn how to kind of just function like that, essentially, you know. And it's not so much a crutch, it's more of like, oh well, I mean, it helps me in situations, it helps clear my head. Kind of like before I start writing any sort of story, you know, newsletter, whatever, I do a journal entry to kind of clear my head. And what that journal entry does is just like I vomit my thoughts out, because whatever thoughts are in my head that are blocking me from being creative, just get them out and connect with them for a minute and vomit them out for about 10-15 minutes on a page. You're going to enter your writing space a whole lot better and a whole lot cleaner,
Dude,
because
I
you're
like
not
that.
like,
It's liberating, yeah.
it does help. Yeah. And it really does. Cause then you're just like, man, I got to do this. And like, you know, this is happening. And like, why am I stuck about, you know, and you're just like talking to yourself and you're like, I'm trying to get to the script. Like you can't dive into your characters and your story if you're still caught up on like that crappy customer you had 2 days ago and you're still like thinking about, or whatever got it, you know, whatever
life.
Yeah,
Life
you
problems
know?
are in your head. Yeah, definitely.
So it's funny. I
That's
messaged
great
the
advice, dude.
I messaged the group chat while I was in San Diego, and it was just after the show or after the show wrapped up or somewhere in between there, where I'd been away from my regular job long enough where like my mind reset a little bit and I started getting creative inspiration again, which I thought like I was critically like lacking. And I'm like, I had like a new idea hit me like lightning. I'm like, man, I haven't felt like that in a while.
Yeah, didn't
You know
you
what I
say
mean?
you
It goes
sat
to
down and
show.
just did writing for like
Oh
hours?
yeah, like I just new idea like completely like took me over. the
You gotta
muse, the
find ways
muse
to, like,
shook me.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
gotta find ways
Yeah.
to disconnect like that too. And I think that's, you know, for
That's
Comix
huge.
Wellspring, I'm doing with comics all day and I love it. Dream job, granted. I love it. It's the greatest thing in the world. I get to think and focus on comics and like, you know, talk to indie creators and do all
I
this
see
stuff
where
all
that could
day.
be a crutch too, Brandon, because like you're seeing like all these different levels of comics, like like
Yeah.
and you're probably in your head like, oh man, I wish I could be as good as this comic, or like there's not
Yeah,
a
there's-
jealousy thing, but like almost like what was it they call it, like the imposter syndrome, where you
Yeah.
just feel like
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm not
That's
I'm not a
natural,
great
though.
creator,
That's like
and
that
kind of
from
stuff. All those
creating,
doubts that
publishing,
seep in.
podcasting, everything we do with it. You know what I mean? Honestly, that's why I on the weekends, typically, if I'm not at a convention or I don't ask for like a weekend off, but I work at Aldi still. I work at a grocery store still. And
Oh,
I
do you
think it's really honestly, because it's one, like who doesn't need that extra income right now at this point? But also like
right.
it's
that's
one
true.
of those things where like I get to go there and I kind of get humbled, you know what I mean? Like I go there and like last year I
Get
came back
yelled
from
at
set.
because
Yeah, like
you put
bottom
the
of the
eggs
barrel.
in the on top of the bread.
You
or
know
whatever.
what?
Yeah,
That's
like,
really an art form actually, because I used to work at a market basket for 10 years. Like years ago, I was a guy with the keys. You know what I mean? He said help us do voice and whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
But bagging is actually an art form. I really, I took pride in that. Like even now when I go shopping, I hope that there's no bagger there, so I can like jump in and bag my own groceries because I know exactly how I want to bag.
Step aside, kid. I'm a pro.
And whenever,
actually, you know, it's Harry. You know, it's horrible. Like me and
What?
Amy, like when we go to Market Basket, we like secretly judge all the baggers. So, like,
exactly right.
Would you do that too?
Oh
like
my
we
God.
go up and
It's the
down,
same
and we're
thing
like,
at
this
Aldi.
guy doesn't look like he
Pete,
knows what he's doing. So we try to go to the next one.
Right. There's one
So
guy
bad.
at that Leominster store. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, whatever. Where we live. There's one guy there that I was like, yeah, I went in line one time to go, you know, get my checkout, whatever. And the bagger was like running his hands through his hair, like doing like wiping his sweat off his. I'm like, oh my God. I don't want to go in that line. You know, I haven't touched my food, you know, like I'm like, whatever.
I mean, it's cool because like even at Aldi, like that's what I do. Like when I'm, you know, I do curbside, so you're picking up orders and you have to bag everything perfectly, or you're cashiering, and like people just toss stuff in the cart typically. But I do very Tetris style, and I try to make it all neat and organized. And you know what? It's cool because it gets me to step away and it gets me to breathe. And, you know, working remotely in front of a screen, like I virtually talk to everybody in my life except for my girlfriend at most weeks, you know, like it's a good refresh to be. Also, I go in there and they're like, what's up, loser? And I'm like, I'm not cool here at all. Nobody cares.
Dude, I can tell you so
it's
many.
It's like, what do they call it? Like the touch in the grass moment, you know, like you're getting away from everything and reconnecting with the world, you know, basically.
I can tell you so many war stories. No, I can. You brought up, you know, grocery stores. I can tell you so many war stories from like.
Oh wait, whoa! Hold on, Harry. Hold on.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Anything weird? Because I have a weird sense of humor too. So, well, because I mean, I think I've shared the story before, and like, it was Superman 3. Catherine Tate from Doctor Who was at.
It was amazing.
Like this is one of my proudest moments. You know, I've shared other stories before, but this is one that I don't think I shared yet. But there was a couple. I don't know if they're a mother and son or husband and wife because they're very gray-haired people, but they look very weathered, you know. But one guy looked a little bit. Okay. Anyway, the point is, this one guy had like, you know, very thick glasses, you know, and they were like scratched the high hell. You couldn't. I don't know. You could see. So let's say my shift began at let's say my shift began at 3:00 p.m. whatever. Okay. They would come in at 3 p.m. and they had the craziest like OCD ever. Like they would take an item, you know, whatever. Here's a mouse, you know, they would take it, they would look at it like every angle, place it in the carrot, in the cart, whatever, and like move it like 20 different times, make sure that it was like placed right. It was straight. The label was faced. Like they would touch it like 20 different times, you know. And it took them maybe 8 hours to get out of that place. They were there at close. They came in at 3. They would leave at 9. You know, 6 hours later.
Oh, that is
and
such
I'm like,
a
holy
crap!
I couldn't.
Oh my God!
And they
never. The best
and every time they checked out. Everybody had no customers were allowed. They closed the light off, you know, like so nobody was allowed in that lane, the checkout lane, whatever. And everybody and they had to bag their own groceries because nobody could bag it right, you know. And for years, I studied them. I studied their every move. I walked up to them and I'm like, "Can I bag your groceries?" It's like, I don't know. We've never had anybody do it before. I'm like, listen. I've watched it for years.
Like the fucking Columbo of grocery baggers over here.
I feel I know how to bag your stuff. So
He's like, one more thing, miss. I put your eggs at the top so they wouldn't get crushed.
Exactly. It's like no, use your noodle.
Like the sequel to Beautiful Mind or something.
So then, at the end of the thing, the end of the ordeal, you know, they're all you know, bagged up. And the guy looks at me. He's like, shakes my hand. Thank you. You're the first person that could ever figure it out. Like, what's the big mystery? You know, it's like,
dude, honestly, it trips me out too because I mean, I work at a grocery store and I see the way some people bag stuff, and I'm like, how did you just throw this in there.
Yeah, like, really,
why? Like,
why is my soap in with my my whatever, like, bread? Like,
yes. And why is my bread at the bottom? First off,
Yeah, right.
Right there. Like,
Yeah.
So
Idiots.
it's funny that you, so I want to circle back around where you said that having this job is almost like there's like a certain humbleness that it brings to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. That's a great aspect to have because it keeps you down to earth. And if I could even circle back even further, it's like you mentioned being a musician and how several times you feel like traveling in comics is like being a rock star.
Yeah.
And and it's funny because there's people who, when they see me in the airport and my banner is strapped to my backpack, they ask if I'm a musician.
That's cool.
Because they think
really?
it's some instrument in my back. You know what I mean? So it's funny. It's like there's parallels to that.
Yeah.
But that could give you a big head. But where you said that you have like this humbleness and there's a certain humility, it's like that keeps you down to earth and that helps your character as well. Like that's I really like the way you phrase that, and I highly respect that you do that.
Thank you. I mean, when it comes down to it all too, like, when you think about it and going circling back as well, how we were talking about just what it's like and being, what we're doing and, happy what we're doing, or reminding ourselves what we're doing. It's good to remind yourself all the time is that no matter what, it's just comics. You know what I mean? Like, it's just comics. It's not the end of the world, whatever's going on. Like, they're meant to have fun and they're meant to be there to, showcase your hard work and everything. But when it comes down to it, like, it's a funny book, and I mean it in the most respectful way ever, because I make them, I create them, it's my entire, you see this room full of just like comic books, it's my whole life. But like, we got to remember, like, enjoy yourself, because nobody fucking cares who you are. We're not rock stars, we're not anything, there's no reason to have ego and to carry yourself in such way. Like,
dude.
it's just because nobody fucking cares.
Fucking
like, because
bingo.
I go back to the grocery store and I'm like, look at all this cool stuff. They love hearing about it. And I'm like, so do you want to buy it? They couldn't care less. Like, they don't care. Like, but they love that we have the passion and the drive. And then we go out there and we do these things and people love it and run up and want to spend money on your stuff. Like, that's what fuels you. Like, just remembering, like, nobody cares, but these people do. So cherish them and, talk to them and, treat your fans with respect and your buyers with respect and your supporters,
That's part of it too. Like, one thing other advice I was going to say is like when I'm at a convention, I'm like, these are my people, like everybody there, whether they're into comics or they're not. And Johnny's the same way. I've seen Johnny in action too, because we've definitely tabled together. But like, anybody that comes up, like, me and Johnny we could talk to them about, the Deadpool movie for a half hour and not even talk about our comics.
Yeah.
And they might walk away. But like, sometimes I'd say one out of 3 people will come back later on and like
planting seeds, man. Planting seeds. That's what that is. That's what I always call it.
Just being kind to somebody for 10, 15 minutes at the show.
And
I mean,
that makes
obviously
such a
you don't want to
difference.
get caught in one of those situations where the person's going to talk to you for like 2 hours, but like, it's always like, I don't know. I always try to give people a few minutes, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
you know what though? Like, we don't matter to anybody, like you said. But however, every now and then, every now and then, you might touch somebody. You know what I mean? Like, some little kid might get inspired and make their own thing. Those people who I bag their groceries, who finally got their bagging right. They know now there's somebody out there that got them.
I love if you would have just taken the context out of everything and then just played what he said. Like, if you touched them like a little kid, like, and
well, big family show. I mean,
you don't care about comics. Nobody cares about us.
Right.
Yeah, right. Nobody cares about us.
And if you touch a little
What
kid,
if you touch that kid?
and then you can make a sale.
What I'm trying to say is,
time for a deep fake. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Harry. I'd never do that.
No, it's all right. It'd be funny. Maybe during ratings week.
YouTube rating week.
Right.
Oh man, it's been but this. I didn't come on tonight thinking we'd talk about convention etiquette and just
Same.
like selling at cons, but it's been a great conversation. I feel like we haven't talked about this in a long time. Wouldn't you say, Johnny? I mean, me and you kind of discuss it, where we're at shows and things like that, but yeah, no, it's
we dug into real deal shit that we legit happens to us. You know what I mean? All the time. And you know what I mean? Like, and I loved hearing about Brandon going, like, I just walk away from the table and I do some other things. Like there's all ways that we handle it and deal with it. Like in San Diego, the way our booth is set up is that we have our banners, and then behind our banners, we have some chairs. And that's our little lounge. And if we ever have to decompress, we go back there.
Just walk
It's just our way to just decompress and not let like rough sales day, bad customer, whatever, or, get to you.
Yeah.
We all have our different ways of doing things.
I try to be also like this. I think is also important is like, you want to try to be like the guy just sitting there, but not like, I hate the salesman types too at conventions. The ones that like bark at you to come over. And like, I always feel like that sets up a bad precedence for everybody in Artist Alley.
I do that, but I don't bark at them. If I see that they catch their eye, I beckon them over.
There's a difference between what you do and say, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
like,
I know the type.
But the type that comes over like a used car salesman, like, what's it gonna cost to put you in this comic today?
Yeah,
that kind of thing,
Can you smell that book? Here, smell the pages.
Yeah. Look at this print quality. Look at it. Check it out. Look at the pages. And you're like, no, dude.
We always do like... I'll show you matte finish.
But you do see those types, and I think they scare a lot of customers. So I always
also have to think like you also have to think about being a consumer, right? Not everybody at Comic-Con is a comic person, so you can scare the usuals. You know what I mean?
I mean,
you don't want to scare the usuals.
Cool part, like being strategic at cons too, is that we've been in artist alleys, we've done like vendor spots, we've done we're doing the cosplay podcast area to test that out, but like branching out from the typical areas at a con kind of gives you a really good advantage sometimes. Like we were in Philly for like Geekdom Con, and we were like with the vendors at a corner booth, and dude, we killed it. We had a great weekend there, but like the artist alley was hard to get to, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, going over these cons that you're like, man, this con isn't good for comics, but if you place yourself somewhere where the comics aren't and where all the other stuff is, it might cost a little extra for that table, but you might have a shot at that.
I agree. Like I kind of approach most cons as like they're not comic cons, and then I try to do well at them. So sometimes me and my wife set up at like other things like street art festivals, and we end up being like one of the only like actual comic creators at like one of those events. And I'll do okay. Like there's people that are interested in comics that go to those, it's
because then your booths are cheaper there too. You're not paying.
Yeah, they usually are. Sometimes they're a little more. Oh, yeah, okay. Right. They're not $600, like, but like they'll range from anywhere from like $50 to like sometimes $200.
Okay.
But it's a free event, so like everybody there, it's a ton of people. Johnny's been at a few with me. The only thing that can hurt you really bad at those is the weather, and if you don't if you're not prepared for weather kind of conditions. But overall, I would say to all creatives out there to try that in your local town. Most towns have like a summer stroll or like an art festival that you can kind of get in. The only thing is you have to invest in like your own tables, chairs, and tent. So there is a little bit of cost to doing this if you want to try to do it, but I'll tell you, you'll have no competition there.
Yeah,
that's long term.
That's it.
But your only competition is yourself at those shows. You know what I mean?
And all those things will pay for themselves too. After a while.
Yeah, they do. And like me and Amy do a bunch now. It's like it's almost half Comic Cons and half those things every year now. and we
And
do
I
What's
guess
really well at some.
I should have promoted this the whole entire show, but we actually just put together a promo that launches tomorrow. And it or actually might be even live right now just because we tested it out. But when you buy 50 books or more, basically just like a restock of your runs, just like 50 books or more, you get 30% off banners and tablecloths right now.
Oh, really?
And
Wow.
yeah,
Comix
it's a really
Wellspring?
sick. Yeah, and it's on the roll-up ones and the eco ones, but the eco ones are cool because they have like a stand. So I feel like if you're behind a table,
Oh, cool.
you don't want to get your banner kicked up. Those are pretty cool to snag. But I mean, if you want to get con ready, you know what I mean? That's probably one of the coolest things that Comix Wellspring is trying to focus on right now too, is trying to make bundles and give you kind of like Guitar Center, your intro, like, blah, blah, blah. Like you paying money up front. But dude, then you're set. Like you have a banner, a tablecloth,
Yeah.
you have a
Yep.
run of your books, like flyers, so we're trying to focus on helping creators with those type of bundles right now too, with discounts.
Yeah, I feel like that brings you up a level as a creator too. If you brand all your stuff, like
Oh
have your
yeah.
company logo on a tablecloth,
And we
have
supply all
your
the
comic
templates
on a
too.
banner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So there's like no excuse to like not design at least a banner to entertain yourself with a template we post up,
You
Yeah,
guys make it
absolutely.
so easy to be comic creators. It's crazy. Like you can get almost anything you need at Comix Wellspring, and it's amazing. You guys run promos all the time, and you have an awesome point system. Like you're like an all-in-one shop, really. You know what I
And
mean?
that's all like transforming and getting better too. Like more promos like that are rolling out this year. Our new website's almost done, where it's gonna be way more user friendly and like a better, smoother
Awesome.
experience. Where we're finally getting the
great.
full disconnect from Greco. As we because literally the website we have right now is just trash, and it's really because like the old designers coded it so wild you can't change half the crap on there. Because they
Okay, so
want
you
you
guys
to
had to
pay to like get them do it. You know what I mean? So
okay.
we have a really cool web builder right now that's working on it all. It's pretty sick. It's pretty dope.
Nice, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I love hearing you guys getting bigger and better. I think that's great. And how long is the promo going on for anybody in the audience that's
Oh,
looking
dude,
to get a
we
banner and
might
things like
extend that past Baltimore. We're trying to like do
Okay.
it right,
Wow.
right towards the end of September. So because it's kind of when con season starts wrapping up.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
may extend it longer to like wrap up so people could get it through November.
So
But yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that if you're going to be exhibiting at New York Comic Con like I am,
Yeah.
now's the time to order your books and get a
Banner,
tablecloth
and
or
banner.
banner for dirt cheap.
Yeah, honestly, dude. Because I mean, our banners, dude, like they're not bad. Like, I mean, I'm actually gonna be at Terrificon with 2 types of our banners. So if anyone
cool.
wants to
I'd
see
like
the
to see the
quality,
quality.
yeah,
Question
definitely come
for
check
you.
them out.
Do you guys print just the banner or do you have to buy the hardware and everything all together? Or can you
So
do just the banner?
no, we do. So it's kind of weird. So we have the rollout banner, which is like just a banner and a small stand, and then the other one comes equipped. Like when they build it, it comes inside of it. So I mean, it's technically you have to get the whole hardware set up, but you could also
Okay.
just do a vinyl banner. It depends on what type you want. We have the 2 types.
Sure.
But it depends how you're setting your banner up too. I mean, it's really hard to like just buy one base and swap it out. But they're so compact, dude. Like it's super light. I could probably even show one right here if I wanted. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool little travel size where it's just like on your little strap back and it's easy to run with. Yeah. 2
You know, it'd be
pieces.
another good product for you, Brandon, that I'm just thinking about that like I always find difficult to find as a creator, but like I've seen it out in the wild and I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know what the costs involved in this kind of thing are, but like, have you guys thought about doing like branded like comic shelves for like an artist's alley table, like like a 3 kind of
Ooh,
tiered
so
thing?
we're working with Whamstand right now to like
Are you
partner
really?
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
We're
wasn't
love
partnering
sure.
up with Whamstand. Yeah. Really
Okay,
I
good
was
guys
just
are
friends of ours.
talking
that
to
guy's
Matt in
awesome.
San Diego, and I wasn't sure. Like, I had to bite my lip because it was like, oh, I know what's happening here.
Yeah. We're doing a
Yeah.
cool like little partnership with Whamstand right
I
now. We're
love
working a lot
George
with Fire.
Michael. I'm a huge. Oh wait, that wasn't. Sorry.
What happened?
No, wait. Never mind.
So here's
Whamstand's doing a bunch of cool new designs on stuff. I rock all these are Whamstands. Whenever you see me table, I always have them on there because it's a great way to
both
display stuff.
me and Johnny have some Wham stand. Like I have like a like for trades and like
Yeah.
he made like the little like the sign and everything.
Yeah.
And George introduced us to. Do you know George Medina?
That sounds familiar. That sounds real
He's like a
familiar.
creator he's the first one that introduced us to Wham Stand.
Nice.
And we talked to him on the side, and I was like, I love this guy, So, and
Which book did George make?
He does Wonder Duck, and he does another book called Russ 3577.
Okay,
Right,
I'm mixing them up with a different George then. Yeah, I might not be too sure, but I'll check them out.
Okay.
I
So
love
this
these
is-
necklaces. I love the chain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
this
great.
is Matt on the left here. This is Matt with the
Mhm.
Wham Stand necklace, and then he printed out this SDCC license plate, which I left with my booth mate Chris Mays.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
Now,
then they
like,
did the,
what was I gonna say, Johnny? Is like, so is he working? So you know what I'm talking about, like a whole shelving kind of thing, like
like
know what I
those
mean?
things back
Oh,
there.
no.
You
Yeah,
see those
yeah.
shelves in the background?
yeah,
there?
like
Mhm.
that's what I'm talking about. Like
He-
I've seen
I-
shelving.
I
where
spoke
you
to
can-
Matt about that. I told him that's what I need. I need something lightweight, collapsible like that. And he goes, I'm working with Comix Wellspring on that. I go, you
Yeah.
don't
Are you
say. I love Comix
Yeah.
Wellspring.
Fantastic. You guys are already ahead of us. Like,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's awesome, Brandon. I'm glad you guys are working on something like that, because when I went looking for shelving, it is like some of the hardest
so
stuff
hard.
to find. Like,
Yes, and it's expensive, like
It
overly
is, yeah.
expensive for like crap. You know what I mean? Like you go to Staples or whatever to get like the little clear shelves and whatnot, and it's too much, or Amazon and anything. It's so bulky and it's
and
hard
those
to
don't
ship
even
with.
work that well. Like they
No, you
break
can't
and
display
like,
stuff right. Like you don't really
Yep.
get a good presentation, and I feel you. I feel you on that, and that's the whole thing. We want to make it cool and better ways. We're trying. That's why we work with people like this, and a lot of the stuff. It's crazy. We would have so much more progress on, but we're like a team of 10, which is
yeah.
insane.
So you guys
know
are
what I mean?
small. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and
totally
it's
get
kind of
that.
cool seeing like the progress we are making, but like there's so many things we're like in progress with that we're like, man, I could be light years away if we had like a team of 5 on each one of these.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brandon
nice.
is
That's
saying he got a vinyl banner and retractable banner, and both great quality.
awesome. Oh yeah.
Oh, and he
Great.
also
Good to
said,
hear.
yeah, I forgot about this Catch the Craze podcast.
Oh, okay,
is what
maybe that's where I
George-
know him from. That sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
that's where
Yeah.
he's from too. And but yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad you guys are doing that. I think it's great. That's a great product to have. That might actually be one of your top sellers.
Yeah. We're hoping so. We're trying to, by next year we want to have a lot more initiatives in play, but we want to continue to like just make it better for people to con, and show their stuff and
Love it.
be proud of their stuff. And if we're giving you books, we might as well give you every other way to display those books really well too.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
great.
just going to help you.
Yep, love
Yeah.
it, love it. So I know it's like going on to 90 minutes here, so I'll start to
Sure.
wrap up our interview. But did you want to share the link for the virtual con that's happening on the
Yeah,
10th?
you know what? Let me drop it. I think I could
Or
drop
if you
it
want
right
to
here
share
in
your
the chat.
screen, whatever makes more sense, or drop it to me and I can share it.
I dropped it to you on Instagram. I'll drop it here too. and I
Yeah, if
think
you
it'll
drop
just-
it here.
Nice.
This is the cool thing. For everyone
Yeah,
to
I'm
check
glad
out.
you guys are getting this going too. I think this is a good thing to come back with, All right,
I'm
yeah, let me
super
see.
excited for it. We're gonna have a lot of really great creators there. A really fun spilled ink session there. Lots of panels going 12 to 9. And you could pop in and out all day and ask questions, see panels, just have it on in the background. Register and show some interest so we know where to carry on from the next year. And we want to be able to invite more creators next time and maybe do a 2-day thing. We'll see how things go. But we're working with Gen X Comics on all this. Great supporter of ours. And we're working together with them on a lot of really fun, cool stuff. So hopefully, as our partnership grows, it grows the indie community as well. I really appreciate everything Gen X does.
That's
Will
awesome.
the virtual event be so if like say for example like where Keith's at Wicked Comic Con this weekend,
Mhm.
is it recorded where you could then go
Yes.
to like a YouTube and watch
Yeah.
after?
Register, and then you'll be able to access everything afterwards too. But as long as you
cool.
register, you're set. Yeah.
So is it
Okay, cool.
mostly all panels, or is it going to
Yeah.
be like moments where people can sell their stuff? Or
All panels, and right now it's just really just kind of getting the word out there for people to check out the platform and examine it and view how they have booths. We're gonna have like Apollo's gonna have a booth, lesser known comics. A few of the Cosmic Lion creators. Next Panel Press is gonna have some stuff. Scott Lost of Making Comics as well. And then
Nice.
Blake's Bloods is another podcast that's going to be on there. A couple things that are going to be a lot of fun, but people will be able to actually link things on there and then sell to that platform as well. From what I understand,
Sweet.
yeah. So
Cool.
it's like my first time diving into it, you know. So it's very much a big experiment at this point, you know.
Nice.
We're gonna make it bigger and more grandiose, and invite more people. And that's the cool part. Once we get more people and can, make a whole list of sponsorships and plan it for 6 months. This was all within like a month. We like did this virtual con. I was like, what if we did one like on the side?
Yeah,
and it just
hell
like
yeah.
sprouted.
Right.
So yeah, we only planned this for about 2 weeks, and we're really excited for how it came out. And we're like, if we could pull this off, just wait. Like it'll be so much a real virtual experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And Brandon, I was gonna say too, if you guys, I know you do a lot of advertising with Comix Wellspring. I see it on YouTube all the time. But yeah, if you guys got a 30-second spot or anything, send it my way. I'll throw it on our videos. I'll put it in our intro.
Yeah, that'd be great. I have
we're always
actually,
like about helping each other, other creators, and
Boosting.
we love Comix Wellspring, so we'd love to help you guys out too, So
what's really cool is like I'm in charge of all of our ads, and actually the people who are making our ads right now are comic book creators. And so pretty much everyone who's doing stuff for Comix Wellspring right now are creators of some sort. We just helped fund an indie film with Kai Brown. It was called Indigo Hour. I make comics with Kai Brown, and then so her and her team that are making a film are actually going to help us make ads because we help fund the film. So we're doing all these cool things to like
send a couple my way, and I'll put them in our rotation. Like
that'd be great.
Love to help you guys out.
And
makes us look good, makes you look good. So.
Exactly. I want to say, even with the new newsletter going out and all of the new articles coming out, we're going to be recommending shows like yours. We're going to be linking to things a lot more. We're going to be way more even more interactive. I'm not saying way more because we're already pretty interactive with our community, but way more engaging and promoting so that people know to reach out to people like you to be like, can I go jump on your show for an interview to promote stuff or talk about things? Like people don't really know where to go or turn for some,
It's
instances.
true. There's like a certain amount of podcasts, and like people don't really think about YouTube a lot,
Yeah.
And so yeah, definitely love it.
And all back to the business of being a creator. You got to figure out your avenues to advertise on top of your budgeting and planning and marketing and traveling and all that.
Yeah, no, I love it. Anything else that you want to share with us? Any upcoming projects? Any we know you have a couple of convention appearances, things like that.
Yeah, we're doing Terrificon. That's gonna be fun. We'll be tabling there. I'll be making a post about it, and we're doing a panel 4 p.m. on Friday at Terrificon. We'll be making a post about that as well. The virtual con August 10th, this upcoming weekend. And just a bunch of cool stuff with Comix Wellspring. So subscribe to our newsletter, I would say, and you'll get all the good stuff on there. Check out Spilled Ink every single week, and Understanding Ink every Sunday. And then on the Apollo City comic side of things, really cool stuff happening there. We're putting out a book called Soul Catchers in the next couple months. That's going to be one of our last books of the year. Me and China Rosemaria are wrapping up a book called Fake Your Death, and that should be coming out in segments over the next couple months. And we're launching a website, so it's easier to buy a lot of our merch and original art and cool exclusive things you don't find anywhere else too. For
that's
Apollo.
awesome. Maybe we can do some cross promoting, because I'm trying to do get my campaign going in the next couple of months too. So yeah, so maybe we can do something.
Especially if you guys are doing crowdfunding of any sort, like if you're printing through Comix Wellspring, just tag us on your posts and I'll share all that. I control a lot of the social media with Alex Spatz as well. So we're always trying to reshare. If we get tagged on something, we will definitely share it to the community.
Oh yeah, because I'll be using you guys for the printing too. So
and we'll actually be including those in newsletter shout outs coming up soon. So people can go directly to your Kickstarter if they're subscribed to our newsletters.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Dismay was asking, and I think you answered this earlier. I was looking at the link and missed the past few minutes. Will any of you the stuff be recorded and available to see later?
As long as you register, just register for the event, and then if you miss it, you'll be able to double back and check out stuff as well.
Okay, I'll have to make sure I register this week so I can watch it later too.
Yeah,
that'd be
great. I just registered.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'll register tonight. But that's great. I love it. I love hearing all that stuff. Did you want to share any of your personal links like Twitter, Facebook?
Check
Instagram,
out
things like that?
Apollo City Comics on Instagram. That's the most active one. Dude, our Twitter was hacked for Apollo City Comics. And if you go
Oh,
to our
no.
Twitter, yeah, like I can't access it. Like there's like a monkey like image there instead of Apollo.
God.
And there's like a random tweet. With
Oh
a
no, and I
bad
think I
quote.
tagged
Dude.
I think I tagged that
No,
Twitter
it's totally
account.
okay. Like it's one of
Okay.
those things. Like I found this out. I got a new phone. I never logged back into it, and then it had a new login, and I just have not. I've been like, what? I hate Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's just like
Twitter,
whatever.
Twitter
Like,
is like I've built up over the last few years, so it's hard for me to like walk away from it. But
Yeah.
I understand that people that don't use it, I totally get
yeah,
it.
I'm more of an Instagram person, so I was like, I'm just Apollo's gonna be.
I gotta
more for
embrace
now,
Instagram a
Yeah.
little more.
That was me with Twitter. I was just say I would embrace Twitter more,
Yeah.
but on
Mhm.
even Comix Wellspring, hit us up on all social media, YouTube especially. That's where we have prime content. Instagram is where we're most active. We are active on Twitter, but we also have a Reddit page now too. We're going to be doing
Oh, cool.
AMAs. We're going to be asking community stuff, and if you want to know information or just advice, like we're going to have threads going. So check us out on Reddit too. Just a good
Fantastic.
resource for community involvement there as well.
Yeah,
got,
great job,
like,
man.
You got a zillion oars in the water right now.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah. I love it though.
That's-
Dude, Brandon, I mean, your excitement for comics, I could feel
No,
it.
no, it's
So,
cool,
like,
yeah.
it's great.
Thank you, man. It's
Yeah, I love it.
it's wild. I'm telling you, everything that's happened last year just trips me out, and I can't believe it. It's really scary, and it's a lot of obstacles, but we push on every day, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's comics, so you got to have fun, and you got to remind
Exactly,
yourself
man.
why
Hell
you're doing it.
Couldn't have said it better. And I look forward to shaking your hand at Terrificon
Yes, I'm
and
so
later early next year at CreatorCon as well.
Yes. I'm so hyped for that. Yeah, we'll hang out. We'll catch up on some stuff, and and the cool thing about that is I get to go there and then promote creators like you. And if you check out our videos from not Terrificon, Heroes and Buffalo, our friend Eric Allred, who does the book Outer Space, that's published through Apollo, he did those edits, and there's some cool trailers we've been putting together. Really
cool.
just giving creators like a good moment to be highlighted and show off what they're doing.
Nice. Are you gonna have copies of your book at Terrificon? Because I'd love to snag one from you.
Yeah, I'll have all 3 of the anthologies, and I have a few copies of Teenage Babylon left still too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
so
definitely
we'll have stuff there.
hook up with you, and like I definitely want to buy one from you.
Dude,
Have you
that'd be
sign it and
great.
stuff.
I'd
That'd be
be
awesome.
super
man.
hyped for that. Yeah, it's so fun meeting people. I'm sure you interview people and then you go out and meet them in person. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh yeah,
a
definitely. It's
relationship already established, and you're like friends.
It's the
already, so,
best.
yeah.
Like I love walking into con and like, hey, it's like like a meet and greet.
Yes. Yeah.
It's great.
Exactly. It's a good reminder of like why you do it sometimes. And it's
Yeah,
like, all my friends are
absolutely.
here. No wonder.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
This is my world. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm just occupying space in it.
Yes,
So-
yeah.
Awesome. Right. So, well, Brandon, we're gonna move on to our like Kickstarter recommends segment. And our shameless self-promotion. But like if you want to sit with us, you can. If you want to jump off, and you're more than welcome, to stay with us. But if you gotta go, we understand. So
Yeah, I gotta
See
take
ya.
off. I gotta go take care of my dog right now. But I'm gonna tune in. I'm still gonna watch you guys. So I'm super hyped to check out what.
Awesome. All
And
right,
also,
Brandon,
if you guys
always
do
a-
print
what's
through Comix Wellspring, go to our website to the crowdfunding and follow those steps. And that way we will promote your Kickstarters, and that's how everyone gets their
Absolutely.
Kickstarters promoted. It's on our website, so check that
Yep,
out.
I'll make sure I'm in for that this time around, because I definitely gonna print. With
I
you
did it
guys,
last time
so.
for sure.
Nice,
Yeah,
yeah, and
awesome.
we're catching it better on that too. Alex
And
is on charge.
one
of that.
quick question. I'm gonna be like, so this is my 10th issue of my comic, and I'm gonna do like an anniversary size. So like, it could go to 50, 60 pages. You guys can handle that many? Like,
yeah.
awesome.
That could either be saddle stitched,
Or like
60
a
is like the
prestige
match for
format.
saddle. Dude, yeah, because our perfect bounds go down to 20 pages now.
Oh, do they really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
might do
yeah,
a perfect brown then.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I'll show you. Cybersync and Shadow are both perfect bound. You better check those out.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
see the
All right,
quality on that.
Brandon, I look forward to meeting you in person at Terrificon, and maybe we all can hang out or something, you
Yeah,
know.
man, super hyped for
Be
that.
awesome.
That'd be great.
If not,
Thank
at
you so
least
much.
just to meet you for a few minutes would be great, you know. and
Yeah,
grab one of your
we know
books.
how the insane cons get
Oh
for
yeah,
all of us.
yeah. I never
figured-
hold anybody to anything at those shows,
Yeah.
you know. Awesome, man. Well, have a great night, and
All right, Brandon.
yeah, we'll talk to you soon,
seeing you.
man.
Great to have you
Come
back
and
on,
see us
man.
again
Yeah.
sometime.
Yes, definitely. I will be. I love talking to you guys. It's always a blast. I really appreciate the spotlight and everything. You know, you guys are kicking ass. So everything you're doing, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome,
Thanks for
Brandon.
taking the
Have a
time.
good
We
one.
appreciate it.
Of course, man. Thank you.
All right. Good night,
All right.
man.
All right.
I'll
Have a
see
good
you.
night.
Bye.
See you later.
Later. All right. So moving into our new segment here with our Kickstarter recommends. Johnny, I know you have one teed up. I know Harry has one. And before we start, let's play our segment. Yeah. Gotta thank Amy for making all these awesome videos.
Love these videos.
Bumps. I look forward to having more for the show, you know, when time permits, you know. Amy's trying to draw and do all this other stuff, but
It's a lot.
also-
It's a lot of
Oh,
work.
one thing I should mention that she started for us. I don't know if you guys saw, but Indie Comics Relay now has a Facebook page and an Instagram page.
I did see that. Yeah.
That's all Amy. Like
cool.
because I honestly don't have time to make that stuff. So
Mhm.
if you guys are out there, you love the show, like the page, like the Instagram. Amy's been putting up like video promos every time we go live. It's also a good place to contact us if you want to be on the show. But keep in mind, we are booking so far out now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I might have to have a conversation with you guys before we go into the kickstarting stuff. We got so many requests. We might even want to. I know it might kill us, but might want to think about maybe weekly or
Weekly for a little bit.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's talk about it. Let's talk. I know we like our breaks, and we may have to maybe figure out a schedule where we go live for like 3 weeks and then maybe have a week off. I don't know, something. We'll talk.
I think there's a way we can make it work.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Well, yeah, that's all offline stuff. We want to bore people with our
exactly.
logistics.
Yeah. So who would like to go first with their crowdfunding pick this week?
Harry?
I'll go first because I think mine actually ends tomorrow. So we'll see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll prioritize that then.
Let me see. How do I do? It's always a challenge.
It's a share the screen
You
and
wanna
then you
present.
you control.
Share screen. All right. So here we go. Always an adventure. Let's see. Entire screen, right?
Oh, look at this. Amy's like 24/7.
24/7. Oh God.
Yeah.
This is gonna turn into reality TV. It's gonna be like real world.
Hey, DS, thanks for joining us. He's coming on the show soon. Actually.
Oh, good, DS.
would be
Yeah, it'd be
to meet
awesome
him.
to have you on, man.
I think I've been on a stream with him a couple times. He's a nice guy, but
Nice.
he's never been on the show, so he'll be coming soon. And Harry, what do we got here, Harry?
Am I on? Am I on? Okay.
Oh my
All right,
God,
so
what
here-
level of inception are we in?
I have no idea. Can you
That's what
see
it looks like. Yep. If you want to just maximize that screen
Yep.
so we
Let's
can
see
see
if I
it.
can do this here.
Boom,
So-
there you go.
All right. So what's
Right.
the name of this campaign? I can't really
Looks like Conrad Van Cottonmouth. It's about a rabbit.
Okay.
So
Click that green button so that disappears. So
Got
we can
it.
see it. There we go.
There
right.
we go.
all right. So here it is. Let's see what the quick rundown is. Hold on a second. So back in the day in ancient Greece, this the Oracle of Delphi predicted that this rabbit would one day come and save the world.
Okay.
And this rabbit, meets up with it's like a it's not an ordinary rabbit, and it's like meets up with like a fox, and then somehow I didn't read the whole thing, but they somehow end up in space and they fight or they meet up with aliens and it becomes like a sci-fi type thing. So
Okay.
by where's my notes here? Michael Connors is the guy that created it.
I like the idea. So is it like a rabbit that starts off as a pet, but it's like a little more
I think. Well, let's look at show the video because the video is kind of like I like the artwork.
Is it short? Is it
very short? Yeah, it's like a minute.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Make it full screen if you can.
Can you hear it?
Yeah. I think it might be through your speaker, but that's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's okay, yeah. I'm getting like Watership Down vibes.
A little bit, yeah. Or what's that? Like, remember that Grant Morrison one, We Three?
Oh, We Three. We Three's
yeah, it's great.
Such a good book.
Something happens.
The art's good too. Like I
like the artwork.
Yeah, I do
it's pretty
too.
good art.
Epic saga of an extraordinary bunny. I love it.
Mhm.
And that's something. I mean, I like rabbits anyway, so like this be something cool.
Yeah, I thought it was
That's
kind
right
of
up your alley.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
And,
million rabbits running around, like everywhere now.
They're really what are they asking for a goal there?
Where are we? What was
It
800?
looks like they just threw this up and then didn't really.
Yeah, it didn't really go anywhere. It's like
It's too bad.
Well, so fundmycomic.com is not your premier like crowdsourcing site either. So this could be an example of where raised in 21 days. This has only been up for 21 days. So this is a matter of the platform doesn't promote very well, probably because it's, they're just getting started, I'm assuming. And then the person who's running the campaign probably needs to do a little bit better job promoting. But I mean, they did good enough job where it came into Harry's radar. So
yeah,
that's something for it.
I like it because like my friend's youngest son loves rabbits. And he drew a rabbit. Actually, he brought it with him to can I get out of this?
Yeah, if you want to just cancel your
yeah.
Don't leave studio.
Oh. Yeah, he'll be back.
Don't leave studio. No, click.
It looks fun though. Like I mean, it looks like the case of somebody just throwing a campaign out there and not really thinking about a strategy to promote it or making it a success. I hate to say,
Yeah, I mean, maybe this could be a second chance. They're just trying Fund My Comic out. You know what I mean? So who knows? I can't imagine anybody going through the effort of putting together a comic book, and not going to Kickstarter with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. So do you want to go next, Johnny?
I might as well, right? Well, we're waiting for Harry, unless Harry's done for the day.
Yeah, I would say
Harry's like, "Fuck it, I'm going home." Wait, I already am home.
Hey, we're back.
Welcome back. Hey, look at the background.
Yeah,
He's like peering behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Is this the normal bag? Is this the real? This is like when you watching the news and the weatherman doesn't have the real screen on.
Now you can see my whole life.
Yeah, a little bit.
Give away my whole
God, I'm shook right now.
Yeah. So my friend's youngest son brought his like little drawing of his bunny. It's like, can I show you something? And he like, had it all wrapped, folds up in his pocket. I'm like, oh my God, you drew that. And it's like all proud of it. So so I picked the bunny rabbit story because of him, kind of.
Nice. No, yeah. I think it was a good one. I just think it's like the creator, either it's a second chance campaign or they kind of did not do their due diligence in trying to make it a success and just threw it out there, which I think is what happened. It's too bad. I mean, we'll give it a signal boost here. So if you guys like that, go check it out. It's what was the name of it again? What was the name of the comic?
Conrad Van Cottonmouth.
Conrad Van Cottonmouth on Fund My Comics. Check that out. And then Johnny is going to highlight his choice this week.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. I'll share my screen. I won't leave the studio, I promise.
Yeah, sorry. Too many. Yeah.
All right. There we go.
Okay. So right here is Advent Dark.
Yes.
This is actually a book I worked on. Keith worked on it as well.
Yep.
The book is about basically it's like Hellboy meets Men in Black.
Yeah, that's a good description for it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And this beautiful creature over here is the main character who's an alien. bounty hunter. She's kind of like the Hellboy character. There's several different covers, variant covers that are available for this issue 4. The other thing you can get caught up in this campaign, so you can get issues 1 through 3 here as well. As you can see, Jared loves his pretty ladies, so he's got covers over here for that. He's got this really awesome cover by Zach Morose.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Zach, he was on our show a while
Zach was on
ago.
our show before. Yep, absolutely. He just had his successful campaign. This gives you a little bit of idea in the book. So the way this book is written is I get pages that are like this, blank, right? And they're actually not even finished. And then what I do is based upon Jared's notes, because it's his story, I will write to his artwork. So
gotcha.
I have to get real clever sometimes because it's not stuff that I can conceive. It's stuff that I have to creatively put words to. So
gotcha.
And I have to give every character their voice.
This issue was mostly a fight too, so I found I threw in a lot of sound effects and things like that when I did the lettering for him.
Yep. But the last 2 issues were very fight heavy, so it's like this is the action of the book. So if you look at the reward tiers, here's the reward tiers that are available for you. You can get all the different covers. If you want the cheesecake cover and Zach's cover, they're all available as add-ons as well. Or if you just want the whole shebang, you can get everything for $250.
Oh wow, that comes with like. Does he do a sketch with that one too?
There's a sketch cover. I don't know if there's an actual sketch, but he should do sketches. That punk.
What is
there's very little risk here going in, so the book's practically done. It's just a matter of getting it funded and printed.
I think he just has to print it, right? Like, because I know the lettering is all done for it.
And this is the best art he's had for this series yet. So like the art looks the best in this book than it has since issues 1 through 3.
That's good. Like, well, at least he's improving,
Yeah, it's improving end over end. And all proceeds, just so you know, I worked on this book, but all proceeds do go to Jared. So he's about 10 days away from finishing, and he's just shy of his goal. So
nice. What is he asking for? I can't see on.
He wants 1,500, and he's at just under 12. Just under 1,200.
Yeah, he should be able.
So he's almost there. Yeah, he should make that no problem. But nowadays when it comes to these campaigns, you want to overperform.
Yeah, absolutely.
You aim low, shoot high.
Amy put the link to Advent Dark in the chat here, and also the link to Cottonmouth, Conrad von Cottonmouth. If you guys want to check that out. All right, that's good. That's a good one. And I'll shoot over to. So I have 2. One is like the one I wanted to promote, and the other one's like part of my shameless self-promotion.
Yeah.
So let me share. Like, I figured I'd do that this week because the one I'm working on is ending very soon as well. But this is the one I wanted to promote, which is we've had these guys on before. This is the Scott Snyder presents the Cloakroom 1 and 2 anthology. So I think they're collecting it into like a one book, I think is what the plan is here. They didn't really do a video. I know Jeffrey Haas, who was on not too long ago, emailed me to see if we could have him on, but our schedule is so packed right up until November that I couldn't do it. So I said, I'd give him a shout out on the show. But we've had these guys on before, and this book looked awesome. And the fact that Scott Snyder's behind it, presenting it, and trying to find new indie creators, I thought this was worth mentioning. But yeah, you look through it, there's a bunch of different stories by a bunch of different
Jimmy Kutsai. Jimmy's a friend of mine.
Isn't that guy?
Jimmy's a friend of mine. I split the table with him over at C2E2 this year.
Oh,
I
nice.
think that Paul Axel might be in this book.
Paul okay.
Is a good friend of mine from Chicago.
Oh, very nice.
Big shout out to Paul. Big shout out to Jimmy.
That's the best thing about anthologies, right? There's so many people that like get involved in them,
Yep.
Like you get stuff signed by Scott Snyder. It's really cool. And I remember when we had them on, I really liked the idea of this project where it could just be anything. So, so check it out. I mean, it looks like you can get, all of it in digital
The
or
catch-up tier
physical.
gives you everything.
Here. But yeah, no, it looks good. And
Great
it was
artwork in the book. Different creators.
And they've only been live for like 8 days, and they're already more than halfway, it looks like. So
yeah, they'll hit soon.
Hit. I think the other one hit, right? The last one hit big time. I think it was like overperforming.
Yep. People are gonna want this collected edition. So that's why.
Yeah, exactly. And so the other one is one that I'm just lettering right now. It's called Skyclad. This was the one that is
Humana.
Yeah, right. It's a girly comic, which is good, And this is the one by David Kimpetti, the guy that was on with Mike Diodato. We had like a couple months ago. Yep. This is his new project. So it's definitely a girly comic, but it actually has a good story to it. Mm-hmm. Like the story is like she's like a stripper, but she's also a witch, and all the power of her magic comes from like sexual energy from like guys like oogling her at like clubs.
So she's kind of like a succubus a little bit.
Kind of,
like,
yeah.
I like.
And she has like a funny cat. She has a funny like cat that's like her familiar, and it's really well written. But the artwork is so good.
It's like Sabrina the Teenage Stripper.
Yeah, or
absolutely. Stripperella.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Sabrina the Teenage Stripperella.
But as you can see, some of the artwork, like the is so good. Like
it's got some beautiful art. Jared Brown would love this book. Hey, Jared, if you're watching, you got
Jared. You might have to jump on this one.
I want that page tattooed in my back right now.
Right, but look at this one.
But you know what though? This is the stuff that's selling on Kickstarter right now. Yeah. So David is he's giving the people what they want.
Yeah, no, it's really good stuff. Like,
it's good. I like that image right there with the pentagram. One? Yeah, that's awesome. That's a cover. That's a print. That's beautiful.
I agree. And I mean, like I don't know, I've never heard of this artist. I mean, he seemed to be like a big deal, but like I was like, wow, look at that.
I bet you took anatomy in our class.
Yeah, probably. But it's like really good. Like I really liked everything.
Even the cat, the cat's illustrated very well. I mean,
yeah, right.
Look at that right there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I really like. It was better. It was like like I usually roll my eyes at these kind of books, but the story was actually pretty good. I was like, I could get into this.
Yeah. I can see
it's supposed to be about 60 pages, although I've only lettered like the first chapter, which was probably the first single issue, but I could even like
Amy made a great comment.
What did she say?
This is under the mattress comic.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Dad, can I have money to back a Kickstarter campaign? Sure, son. You're supporting it.
Right. But I mean,
you even get the explicit stuff
trading card set.
Yeah. Are we checking ages here on this campaign?
We should. So this is the artist, Michael. Have you heard of this guy, Michael?
Wasn't Michael on the episode with us?
No, there was another guy named Michael. But
okay.
But this guy, I think
he's familiar. I think he came on our show before.
3-time winner of Stanley Award for Best Adventure Strip. Worked in Eureka Magazine, Hero Alliance for Innovation, classic Lost in Space revival with Billy Mummy. He worked on Wolverine, Doombringer, Catwoman, and Batman Forever, the official adaptation. Yeah, this guy's no joke, but really good artwork. And if you like stuff like Zenoscope or like the old Bad Girl comics, I think you guys will love
Joe
this
Jusko
book.
Too. Joe Jusko has that art style, but it's
exactly.
Yeah, it's not like explicit. He just draws that hyper realistic female form, like the Fleer cards from the 90s.
Oh, there he is. Is Mike Diodato. So they must be. Oh yeah, this is the book they were promoting when they came on our show.
Jade Warriors.
So it looks like you can get this as well if you didn't get to get it the first time around.
Yep. I think Michael was on the show with us. I think he was, if I remember correctly.
There was. I don't think he was an artist though. There's David. That's David.
I remember David. It was David.
It was
Mike
Michael
and-
something. I think he was a writer though, but
okay. I might be confusing things.
but I think he had the same name, Michael something.
Right.
But yeah, as you can see, the campaign is doing extremely well and can always use a little more help, of course. So check that one out if you guys are into, scantily clad women, but a decent story. So it was a good story. And I'm actually looking forward to where it might go from the way it ended. So I like to read along as I'm lettering, so
You're like surprised as you go. You're like, oh my God.
yeah. Actually, I should show you guys some of the pages that you just saw in the Kickstarter, but I can show you my lettered version of them if you want to see those. I'll put a couple up. I'll do the first like 5 I think that he showed on there. So, and then some of this is going to change, because I haven't really. Dave hasn't given me like his fixes yet, so some of these will probably change, but.
Wow.
But like
I like it.
Yeah,
I like that icy blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it gives it a nice like look,
little gradient action going on.
Yeah, and I like doing that with caption boxes and stuff. There's the page you want to tattoo on your back there, Harry.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
you can see it.
Yep.
That's how it looks lettered too. So,
cool.
But yeah, no, really fun book to work on. So
yeah.
But so that's part of my shameless self-promotion.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, this book's now on my radar.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and everybody should check out all the books we've just featured. If you're looking for something to back, definitely check it out. And now let's move on to our other segment here, which is love our bumps.
Love that. That's great.
And the one thing I want to hear about is San Diego Comic-Con from Johnny C.
Yeah. What would you like to know, Keith?
I want to hear all the stuff that you saw. That was like all the crazy stuff you saw.
Yeah,
like behind the
anything
scenes.
crazy happened to you while you were there, Johnny? I know you got to meet Julius, which I thought was cool.
Yes, I
How
saw
was
Julius. He was awesome. Did
you recognize him at first, or did it take you a minute?
At first, no. And then I'm like, oh shit, that's Julius. Like it clicked.
Yeah.
And then it was just cool. Like I invited him into the booth to hang for a minute, and just chit chat and get caught up. And he's just such a down to earth, cool cat. Loved hanging out with him.
That's cool.
I didn't know he was a West Coaster, so that's why I was yeah.
For some reason, I thought he was like in Ohio or something.
I thought he was in New York.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well, like Ghetto Dragon, it feels like one of those like urban stories, so I didn't expect him to be in West Coaster. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. It was great to hang out with Julius. Major things. I mean, I couldn't tell you. Like, I didn't really see anything like spectacular that I was like taken aback. I know that there was this massive light show over Petco Park that featured drones and Deadpool, and that was kind of a sight to see that I missed out on. But I got to do
the footage of the AEW Adult Swim wrestling. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I got to do the things that I wanted to do as a fan, which was nice. So I was like really close at the AEW panel.
Yeah,
which was awesome. As a matter of fact, here, hold on, I'll share my screen here. Present, share screen. So a couple little like AEW things happened for me that I was super psyched about.
Okay.
Let me see here.
I will say this year I was very disappointed with the amount of non-announcements. There was like nothing I was really that
Dr.
excited
Doom.
for.
We can talk about that.
That was lame. I think everything that Marvel came out with was kind of mediocre.
Like
that casting.
Tell us your company's suffering without telling us your company's suffering.
That casting is a stunt casting unless there's a really good story to back that.
It's got to be alternate universe, right? With Doom, like it's like an alternate.
But I hate that they do that now. It's just like the way the X-Men was a couple of years ago, where anyone could die and come back. It's like, You know what I mean? Like it's just like
That's the only way though that it could possibly make sense. You know what I mean? Because like Tony Stark is Iron Man. You know, that's it.
yeah, it's weird. It's a weird choice.
It's they need to explain the story. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Robert Downey Jr. is a very likable guy.
Yeah.
And
I hate
DS
that Kang is being written off.
Kang is
Correct.
being
Yes,
written
I
off.
agree
Yeah.
with you. I think the original thing was that Tony Stark was supposed to be a Kang variant. Now that they can't use Kang, they're making him Doctor Doom.
I don't know why they just didn't recast. Like Amy mentioned
There's
that
so many,
too.
yeah.
And like,
I wanted Coleman Domingo to take over. He would have been awesome.
they recast War Machine. They recast Bruce Banner. It's like, what's the big deal? Just put someone else in the role. Like, continue on with whatever you guys were going to do with that. Like, I don't know. I guess they looked at it like, hey, our stuff's suffering. People don't like Kang. Let's just get rid of the whole thing. But it's like kind of silly. They should have stuck with it and made it work.
I mean, they replace people all the time. Like what's his name, Brody? You know, and Iron Man. Like that character.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Be recast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Eventually, they're going to have to recast Iron Man, Logan, and all these other characters. You know, so it's like they might as well get people used to it, I guess. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They should have, and like I think the Marvel's biggest problem is this kind of stuff, like stunt casting, and it's like, dude, when things are not working, what you got to do is pull yourself back and go back to the stuff that works, like the source material. You got to go back to the comics.
I said it a lot.
And try to recapture what you were doing originally. You know,
I said it a lot this past San Diego when we were chatting with people about the MCU and Hall H and Marvel and the announcements, that people forget that the first phase of the MCU was not made by Disney. It was made by Paramount. Paramount distributed those films. There was certain creative license that was in, Marvel Studios didn't have to abide by what Disney was saying. They could operate a little bit more loosely. And ever since Disney bought them, now you could see the night and day difference after phase, because it was almost like it didn't happen right away. It was gradual, where, you could see the corporate shift in power, where it became less Marvel Studios control and more of Disney's mandate that, overtook Marvel and Star Wars and all those other properties that we love. But we digress.
Yes.
I wanted to share. So this is a friend of the show, Tom from Committed Comics.
Oh yeah, Tom. Yeah.
So I ran into Tom over there.
Did you run into Bill Mouse too?
I did not see Bill, unfortunately.
Oh, okay,
the show was so wild.
Committed. Oh, Dave. Nice.
And we got David Lucarelli, friend of the show. We were on a panel together. So
how did that go? How was the panel?
I have the full video of the panel.
Oh, you do?
So
you want to send
I'm going
that
to see if
me?
I can.
See, Johnny has great.
If I can get permission, if we can share it on the channel.
That'd be great, because I'll release it as. How long was it? An hour?
About an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I can release it in like 15-minute chunks or something.
Yeah, I sat next to Christina Z, who created Witchblade.
Oh,
and
nice.
She was very nice. I thought she was repulsed by me, but she was very nice.
Oh, nice. Was she doing Witchblade again? I saw that something came out with Witchblade recently.
I don't know. I think she is under there. They are doing something Witchblade related. I think she actually talks about it in the panel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So great cosplay from San Diego. That's one of the cool things you see out there. That show
Midsummer, right?
Midsummer. Yeah. So that's from Midsummer. You always get to see cool stuff like that.
I saw the dragon. The House of the Dragon.
Oh, the House of the Dragon cosplay. That's in this folder. So you can see how.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say you can see how close I was for the AEW panel. So this is actually a video of Mercedes Moné. Yeah, CEO Mercedes Moné. She came out cosplaying as Poison Ivy, and I didn't know who this was until after I got back and had to catch up on 4 hours worth of wrestling. So this is Camille. I guess she's a new hire, and she's dressed like Bane. So I thought it was really cool that they brought a little slice of Comic-Con, into the AEW panel, cosplaying and things of that nature.
Having them wrestle like the Adult Swim characters, like
Well,
the guy dressed as Meatwad and stuff.
Yeah,
I thought
so
that was great.
I could jump right ahead to that. So that's actually right over
maybe
here.
like AEW even more, like just that they were willing to do that stuff.
Yeah, so like I didn't know what to expect. When they announced this, so I wanted to make sure that I was ringside to get a good view, and they basically had these people dressed like Adult Swim characters wrestling. So the girl in the striped outfit, she's supposed to be Fang from Primal.
Oh, okay.
And she had like a dinosaur mask when she came out. And it was just it was real cool that they did that. And props to AEW. They held a really cool event.
Amy wants to know who was dressed as Bane.
That's Camille. She's a new hire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She debuted last week.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah,
okay.
I think she debuted at Blood and Guts.
We're a couple weeks behind, but we've been watching. AEW.
So I hope you guys watched that Will Ospreay MJF match because
not yet. We just saw Blood and Guts. We just finished.
Blood and Guts is awesome. How great was that?
Yeah, it was great.
The staple guns, unbelievable, yes. unbelievable, so good. I had to watch. I watched AEW when I got back, and I got caught up on everything. It was just so. The stuff they did, the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes won the Trios Championship, which is awesome because that's two big like legacy wrestling families from Texas that won a championship together. I just thought that was really cool.
Great
stuff. So this photo right here is Don Nguyen, friend of West Coast friend of mine. I think he's been on the show before. If not, we should definitely have him on. He's great.
Yeah, I'd love to have him on.
That's not Gold Dust, is it? Dustin Rhodes, is that Gold Dust?
Yes, that is Gold Dust.
Oh,
yeah,
that's Julius.
But he doesn't go by that moniker in AEW. That's a WWE thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He couldn't use Gold Dust outside of that federation.
Oh, okay.
That's Julius.
There's the man, the myth, the legend, Julius.
That's awesome.
Real nice guy. Loved hanging out with him. Here's that cosplay.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This thing was wild to try to get through the door. I watched the whole thing go down.
Wow.
My buddy Gaz was at the show too, Johnny. Did you meet him during
special edition, I believe?
Yeah, he was filming that and he filmed this cosplayer moving around, and I was like, that is cool as hell.
Yeah. The wings actually expand out.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah,
wow.
they had to crunch the wings in to get him into the door. But real awesome cosplay. And the guy actually stopped and looked at me to pose for the camera, which I thought was cool.
That's cool.
We mentioned the placard that Brandon had earlier. There's mine. If you ever were curious, the back of the placard. Whoops. The back of the placard makes sure that it informs you not to swear. It gives you what panel you're on, what the location is, and
that's great.
Yeah, so that's fun right there. And here's the panel together. So there I was with Christina. I feel like I'm the less talented person in this row.
No,
but
you don't have imposter syndrome.
A little bit. So our friend Russell Nolte.
Oh, nice.
With Kyle Kaminsky right there.
So now, which one's which? Like,
that's Russell right there.
Okay.
And here's Kyle.
Nice.
Yep.
Is he back now doing comics, or is he all done?
He's back. He's back.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah. So he was there. So Scott Morse, this guy was he held a
is that the
anthology.
Is that the guy that did creating comics or
no?
I'm thinking.
No.
Is it?
No.
Okay. No, I'm thinking of Scott's. I don't know. I'm thinking of the
Scott McCloud.
Scott McCloud, yeah, that's
No. Scott Morris is an illustrator. He was at the Alan Spiegel Animators booth, so this was really cool. He put together an anthology with submissions for one-pagers before the con.
You were telling me about that.
I submitted to this. Unfortunately, I didn't get in, but I'm still I was really psyched about the project.
Is that the one that Nandor got in?
Yes.
Okay.
Our buddy Nandor got into this. I'm so psyched for him and proud of him. And it's so cool that he got into this project. And
nice.
I wanted so this guy was busy every time I went over the booth, so I really didn't get a chance to have a conversation with him. But I did get to watch him sketch some of the pages, which was really, really cool. I actually contemplated. I don't know if you can see propped up over there on the right-hand side. That's the cover. And that's original art for the cover, and he's going for $350. And I wanted to buy it so bad, and I didn't. And because I didn't, I bought ringside tickets for AEW in Springfield. So if I bought that, I wouldn't have been able to buy wrestling tickets.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man, that is cool.
Yeah. So that's the fun stuff. And I'm not going to bore you guys anymore, but one other real awesome milestone for me was Brandon Cutler from the Elite.
From AEW, right?
From AEW, yeah.
Yeah, I just watched that guy.
He was
on
walking
Blood
by
and
the
Guts.
Yeah, he was walking
one
by
of
the
the
booth, and I'm talking to my buddy Chris Mays here, and I go, wait a minute, was that Brandon Cutler? And he heard me. He turns around and goes, was it Brandon Cutler? And he was so cool enough to come into the booth,
that's
snap
great.
photos with us.
He'd be a good Ming the Merciless.
Yeah,
he would.
yeah.
Did you give him a copy of Surrounded by Death?
Not only did I give him a copy of Surrounded by Death, but he reached out to me on Instagram saying how much he loved it.
Oh, cool.
Really? Wow. That's
Dude,
awesome.
It was real nice and real sweet of him. I gave his wife a bag of coffee. Chris gave his kids some Super Mario prints because they were big fans of Super Mario Brothers. And it was just an awesome experience and an awesome just interaction I had with a pro wrestler. Like,
that's so cool, dude.
Yeah, he was just real nice guy. Super awesome guy.
It's cool when they're like, human, real people.
Well, I asked him right off the bat because he was there with his kids and his family. I go, is it okay to, take photos? I know you're here with your family. He came right into the booth. He was very, very welcoming and inviting. It was just really cool.
Yeah. And like I said, he could have just kept going and even ignored you, so that's great.
Yeah, no, he was really cool about it.
Oh, that's cool, dude. I love hearing that. I love hearing that.
So he was there because he's a dungeon master. He's a D&D advocate. He's there for and he's there for a Dungeons and Dragons panel. Which I thought was really cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
So that's my personal highlight was I got to see all the AEW stuff up close and personal, and a little bit of AEW came into my booth. So I thought that was really awesome too.
Is there anybody that you were hoping to meet or see or whatever, but didn't get a chance to? Or
well, I was kind of like on a wait list to get into Hall H, which never happened. But in hindsight, I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind that I missed it this year only because
I don't think they had anything really noteworthy
going on.
I wanted to see the Thunderbolts footage just because I love the Thunderbolts as a team, and I read a lot of the Thunderbolts books, and I was very curious to see what the Century would be like.
Yeah.
But
the Century's going to be in that?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, I was really fascinated by that. But that aside, like the price. So the other thing is everybody normally in Hall H gets a really nice Marvel hat. Mine's right over there. It's like that was for Black Widow.
Yeah.
So I was expecting everybody to get like a Fantastic Four hat.
That'd be cool.
And they didn't give that away. So like that was one of the things that I really wanted to get into Hall H for, was specifically for that hat. And because they didn't, I felt like better about it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't miss out on the hat. I wanted
right,
the hat
and
really
you got
badly.
to see all the highlights and knew what was going to happen.
Right.
I will say, like usually there's a lot of huge announcements that come out of San Diego.
Like
Nothing
TV
really
shows
crazy
and
this year. I mean,
No,
like
it's a
they
little bit
announced like
muted.
the Dexter prequel and sequel, and I could care less about the prequel. I'm kind of interested in the sequel though, because after the way they ended that last season,
what was the big news this year? Is it?
There was nothing. Like the
Well,
big news for
Marvel.
me, I can tell you what my big news was
right.
Dynamite Comics announcement of the Herculoids comic and the
really?
and they're gonna be doing Thundar the Barbarian.
Oh,
I heard about that.
I've been saying that. Haven't I been saying that forever?
Dude, I've been low key trying to get that license.
Oh my god!
Like looking into it, but I knew it was going to be a lost cause because Warner Brothers had it, and I was like, they would probably look at me and go, "Why would we give this to you when we have DC Comics?"
So it's going to be a new comic. Is that
Right.
Yeah, they're licensing a bunch of stuff to Dynamite.
Oh,
Dynamite's going to do it.
So that's very telling. Why would Warner Brothers, that owns DC Comics, a comic book company,
do that?
license out books to another company to produce those comics when they can make
I think
them
it's because
in-house?
DC's like they've shrunk over the last few years, and they're probably looking to not put out anything that's not Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman. That's my
But they
guess.
can always do an imprint. Like that just seems so
it's
business
weird.
tone deaf. The only thing I can think of is that Dynamite has this certain built-in audience for licensed books.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe as a result of that, they feel like they'll get a better ROI if they send it there, as opposed to doing it through the DC channels.
Yeah, and they get their cut. You know what I mean?
And they get their cut of it. But that, I don't know. I'm a proponent that if you're a company and you own branches of the company, you're not going to.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. You don't.
Well, they're also the other three they announced. I'm not really interested, but other people might be. They're doing Dynamite and Blue Falcon. And they're doing Ben 10 and
cool.
Captain
Cool.
Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think I'd get any of those. Possibly Ben 10. But definitely Thundar. I'm in for Thundar. I don't care.
Hopefully Thundar becomes something.
And I'm in for Herculoids. I already know who the writer is. It's Thomas Nagowski, who's in our neck of the woods, Johnny.
Oh, really?
Actually, 2 tables down from us at Haverhill. He's the writer of Herculoids, him and his wife. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I'm wondering, are they totally keeping the same thing from the
I don't know. I'm
gonna
see him at Wicked. I'm gonna ask him about it. I'm gonna be like, he's been posting up pictures of his Herculoids action figures, but hasn't really talked much.
What were those 2 things? The Gloop and Gleep.
Gleep and Gloop.
Gloop, yeah, right.
Gloop and Gleep.
Yeah, well, whatever.
They're the best.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I just love that whole. Like Hanna-Barbera, whatever. That,
World's a Super Adventure. And you know why it's so good? It was all designed by comic guys, classic comic guys.
I just hope it
Kirby and Toth. What's that?
I hope it becomes like Thundar, at least like becomes like a movie or something. I would love to see that as a movie. Or something.
Man, the comic could jumpstart it because the comic is so
could revitalize it. Yeah, it really could revitalize it.
It's never left me. Like that thing, like post-apocalyptic, like. Cool, like
I just started watching it again on Johnny's Plex. It's fantastic.
I want to,
it's so good. It still holds up like a mofo.
Yeah, it's very well drawn. Like amazing.
Ukla the Mock and I love it.
Chewbacca, basically.
Yeah,
Chewbacca.
Absolutely.
It really is.
If you look at it closely now, knowing that Toth designed it. He looks kind of like Brack too from Space Ghost.
Oh yeah. Now that you say that.
So I'm pumped for Thundar. I cannot wait for that book. And I'm really excited. They're doing a great job with their other stuff they're doing. They have Thundercats right now that's been really good. And I'm eagerly awaiting the Johnny Quest comic. I cannot wait for that. I think that's going to be great. And,
I didn't even hear about that. There's a Johnny Quest
it's coming out in the next month or so. It's written by Joe Casey, who used to be one of the guys that was part of the Ben 10 team. Back in the animation days.
Kids of today have no idea what any of this stuff is,
I know, right? But it's so good. It's held up so well over the years. I could talk about that shit for days.
Yeah, I know, right?
I love those old cartoons.
Those are because they're classics. It's like foundational for us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. As we start to wrap up here, DS had a question for us. He said, "How would you guys react if Marvel announces a Power Pack movie?"
They made a Power Pack movie.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, there was a Power Pack movie. It was direct to TV. Like
done right, Power Pack could be fantastic.
Power Pack could be really cool. You know what it'd be? It'd be Spy Kids to the next level. They need to get Robert Rodriguez to direct it.
Yeah, absolutely. I always liked the idea of a Power Pack and how they were kind of superheroes, but they still had to get home before their parents found out and shit.
Yeah.
I love that. And I loved how they were always friends with Franklin Richards, and he was kind of like an honorary member of the team. Yeah, I love that shit.
Given that Franklin Richards is going to be in the new movie, I would not be surprised if they
kind of introduce them.
Pack. Yeah, like quietly.
Well, Hickman's run had a couple of the Power Pack members in it when they were doing the whole Future Foundation thing. I was cool. I love
Dragon Man and stuff.
Yeah, it was great stuff. Yeah. So Power Pack, depending on who did it, that's a kind of movie I would give to like Robert Rodriguez, like you said, Spy Kids, or that kind of like tone would be perfect.
Yeah,
for that,
like a kid's movie, but like super over the top, like action spy.
Yes. And try to do like all the weird stuff with Power Pack 2 and like, yeah, I'd love that. I think that'd be a great book or a great movie. I mean, you know.
This is why I think I'll never grow up, because all these like things that I love, they're coming back.
Oh, I'll never. I'll be 90 still talking about how awesome the Herculoids is.
Yeah. it's like it's our way of never growing up, right?
Oh, dude, I think it keeps us young though.
Like, I know it's not
I
my
look
fault.
My age, so
Yeah.
I don't think any of us do. So
Yeah.
Harry,
the only difference is that our toys become more expensive.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. Harry, before we wrap up, you have anything you want to promote this week,
I could show some drawings, but you know what, it's just more the same. It's like logo work, and I've
show it.
Today is like the first.
Do it.
Since it's
show
summertime.
us at least one. Show us
one, please, Harry.
Since it's summertime, I did this like maybe a few months ago. It's like
anybody out in the comic world looking for like a logo for their comic, Harry is your man.
This really isn't a logo. It's more of a illustration, like for like an ad or something. Here we go again. Present,
and then you pick the screen that you want to show.
Don't leave the studio.
Yeah, don't leave the studio. Like
right. Try not to.
All right.
Are we sharing? All right, here we go again. All right, where's my 1 second? All right, so here's my original drawing of my lobster roll. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Let's see if it opens up here. All right, there's my lobster.
I love that. Are you kidding me?
Too, and it's fun.
This is my little lobster.
Great.
Whatever, my little lobster roll. It's basically sitting in a roll. Whatever. And then here's the finished. I'll show you the PDF of it. There he is.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
Good, man.
Yeah, little lobster.
You
and what
do
is
like
logo
vinyl stickers of these and just sell them. Like,
yeah, that could be anything. Like it's like
yeah. Like what's the logo for? Like
I think it was used for some restaurant or something, like selling lobster rolls. So I figured it's like seasonal.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so there he is, original lobster.
That's
nice,
great.
Dude. I
love that.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I've been. This is the first week so far that I haven't done anything new. Like I've been busy the past like month straight, like just working. It was just good. I'm not complaining. I love being busy, during this kind of work. But like
Amy
oh, thank you.
I do too. I think it's great. But hopefully maybe like you never know who's watching. They might need a comic logo or something for their comic. You might end up doing some logos that way. It's a good way because I've done a couple logos for comics, and I don't feel like that's a skill I need to develop a little better. Like actually
logo
really
work,
think about the design like you did with that one, and like just kind of put pencil to paper.
It's almost like you have to go from a graphic design perspective.
Yeah, you have to change your
like because that's kind of how
change the way you look at it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Because sometimes I picture it in my head, and that drawing is what I pictured in my head. So I just draw it real quick, so I can then do it into a digital drawing. So
yeah, no, that's good. Smart.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. All right, fellas, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Now that we've heard about, we should also mention WikiCon. I'll be there this weekend. Set up. I'm in the main. I think it's the Galleria. I think there's like 3 sections this year. It's one of the big rooms, Galleria, and then also I'm moderating an all ages comics panel on Saturday.
Cool.
So Johnny, if you can get in, I'd love you to film that for me.
Yeah,
we'll
have
is that a 1 day thing or a weekend?
It's 2 days. So
2 days, yeah.
So Saturday, as soon as the show starts, I gotta like within a half hour, I have to go find the panel room and moderate and everything.
Yeah,
I'm gonna probably print out some questions and take it real seriously because I don't think I've ever moderated before, so it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I'll be there for 2 days, and then the following weekend is Terrificon. So me, Johnny, are you going to any of these shows, Harry? Or
I thought about going to terrific con. But is that something you should buy tickets ahead of time? You can't buy tickets
Yes.
at the door, can you?
100%.
Okay. All right, so maybe I'll look into it.
Yes, I'll
bananas.
definitely try. He says,
Yeah.
please film the panel. I want to hear it. I definitely will try. If I could get Johnny to do it, he might be my only hope for getting it filmed. I mean, unless they're filming at the show. If they're filming at the show, I'll ask for the footage to see if I can play it on the channel, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said,
know
I gotta
those
see if I can
guys.
get it from the San Diego panel.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to play that here. And that's like an indie focused one, right? Too. It's like an indie.
Yeah, it was writing.
Yeah, that'd be great. Please, if you can get that, I'd love to play that on the show. And I'll just put it out as a whole thing, or just, I don't know. Let me know in the
We
audience.
can credit accordingly too. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to see it in chunks, or if you want to just see it as the whole thing, I
Yeah.
can do it either way. But yeah, so definitely. And then I have something after that, but I can't remember. I gotta sit down and just write out my whole schedule and share it with everybody. So
Yeah.
but all right, everybody, we're gonna wrap this one up. I think, are we live again next week? Let me see. Is this
I
one
don't
our
know.
week? Let me check. Hang on. I got.
Did we break the schedule already?
Yeah, we already broke it. Yeah, we are live next Monday. We have the Wayward
Okay.
Raven team coming on.
Oh,
for the
that's great.
Napoleon-
Love those
Napoleon
guys.
Starship Kickstarter that they're doing. And then
Cool.
then we should be off, you know, so hopefully that all works out. So we'll see.
Yeah, hell's
But all right, everybody, we're gonna wrap this up. Have a great week. We'll be live next Monday, so come join us then. Until then, read some comics. Good night, everybody, and have a great week.
Good night.
Be
Night,
kind to
everyone.
one another.